WNYathletics.com would like to thank today's sponsors, Howard Hanna Real Estate Services. Ready to sell your home? Visit howardhanna.com today. Howard Hanna, home happens here. Western New York Immediate Care, with 4 convenient locations in the Buffalo area: Amherst, Buffalo, Depew, Lancaster, and Orchard Park. Western New York Immediate Care is now offering telemedicine services to provide you care anytime, anywhere. Visit WNY Immediate Care on-site or virtually at WNYimmediatecare.com. Logistics Plus Buffalo is your go-to resource for all your transportation needs. LP moves freight of all shapes and sizes all across the world. Call LP Buffalo today at 716-877-9653 or email buffalo@logisticsplus.com. AdPro Sports. AdPro is the largest team sports dealers and brand merchandise providers in the nation. For a variety of custom merchandise solutions, from apparel to promotional items, visit adprosports.com. Empire Electric. For all your home, business, or office electrical needs, call Empire Electric at 716-634-0330. Free estimates and financing available for all customers. Empire Electric. Call 716-634-0330. Hey everybody, welcome to Inside High School Sports / High School Sports Saturday. I am Frank Wolf from WNY Athletics. I'm hosting by myself this morning because, Tom Prince is off to Clarence to help live stream the swimming championships that are going out there for Section 6. Francis will be out at North Tonawanda for wrestling a little bit this afternoon. We have a crew heading to Lakeshore for the small school wrestling Sectional 6 state qualifiers going on today. Lots happening, so we're kind of spread out today. So that's where those guys are. I've been out the last few weeks. We've had a lot of stuff going on, so I'm glad to be back, to be honest. I'm glad to be back in front of you, in front of the mic, and hosting this show. Tom has been very busy lately. Tom's been going through a lot, very busy with work. That's why you haven't seen him in gyms, as much. And Tom needs a little bit of a break. We work Tom way too hard. The amount of work that guy puts in, day out for, we say for WNY Athletics, but in all honesty, the work he puts in for you, the student athletes, the coaches, the administrators, all the work that Tom Prince does is incredible, and it can get overwhelming for all of us. Tom's got more energy than any 5 guys I know at his age, and he needed a little bit of a break, and a couple things came up that Tom needed to take care of. So you'll see him. I believe he's getting back out there sometime next week. France has been all over the place, as you've seen, especially this past week with girls hockey. The coverage that Randy Schultz and Francis provided was unmatched. Yet again, should not be surprised the dedication that Francis and Randy have to girls hockey, along with Janet Schultz from New York Hockey Online. The job that they do covering girls hockey, it's unprecedented for girls hockey, for New York State, for Western New York. My hat's off to them. So with that, why don't we just start really quick recapping what happened in girls hockey. Oh, by the way, make sure you visit our sponsors, our websites that help us do this show. Western New York Immediate Care, they got 4 locations. Check out their website, westernnewyorkimmediatecare.com. 4 excellent locations. We're going to be doing a lot more work with them over the next couple of months, so you're going to see some more infomercial stuff on Western New York Immediate Care that we're kind of excited about producing for them. That's going to be a lot of fun working with Western New York Immediate Care. So if you have an urgent care need, please go see Western New York Immediate Care and let them know that WNY Athletics sent you. Not physically, but just that was your choice of who to go see if something unfortunate comes up, like a twisted ankle or something like that. Actually, I went to Western New York Immediate Care not long ago for kidney stones. They took care of me, did a great job, thankfully. That was not pleasant. AdPro Sports, the gear that you see the WNY Athletics gear guys walking around with, that's all from AdPro. Thank you very much, guys. Jeff Diebel over there, Paul Shinzis take really good care of Western New York Athletics. So thank you to those guys for outfitting us time and again. Shout out to Roger Weiss, my old Inside High School sports partner. Shout out to Nelson Adams, working hard today. If you want to get on the show or if you want to comment, I believe the show's up on Inside High School Sports. You're somehow, some way you're watching because I see it here. If you got a question, throw it out at me, and I'll try to answer it best I can. But yeah, if you have a question in regards to high school sports, a comment you want to make, you want to share, I'll be happy to address it. Go ahead, shoot. I'll wait for the comments to show up in the chat room. So I did want to start off with girls hockey real quick because, not real quick, I'm going to take my time with it, but you know what I'm saying. I want to talk a little bit about girls hockey. We had a couple of really good games earlier in the week. It started with the quarterfinals on Tuesday. Niagara County gets by Cash 4-2. It was a number 2 versus number 7 matchup there. And then Hughes, a 2-1 winner, double overtime, I believe, over flop, 2-1 winner. And then Williamsville takes down Lancaster, Iroquois, Depew, Alden, 3-2. So those were your 3 games, 3 quarterfinal games on Tuesday. Then you had the semifinals, and Kenmore, Grand Island, Lockport took down Williamsville 4-1. That's the number 1 seed, taking down Williamsville. Always a great matchup there. 2 great head coaches, good coaching staffs all together. Rick Hopkins, of course, at Williamsville, and then Jeff Orlowski of Kenmore. And Matt Miller, also his assistant coach. There's another couple guys there that help out Kenmore. They all do a very good job. And then Niagara County, how about they did it again? They get by Hughes 2-1. That was the triple overtime winner. Riley's career comes to an end. I believe that's her first name. And I always butcher her last name, but she had an unbelievable career with Hughes. They're Andruski. Poor girl, I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name. I mess it up every time, but she had a great career with Hughes. Niagara County, though, they move on to the championship game with Kenji-Port. It's going to be a 1-2 seed matchup there. And that is Monday night. It's at 8 p.m. at Cornerstone. It can only be seen on the NFHS network. What does that mean? It means you're going to have to get subscribed to the NFHS network in order to watch that game. You may already have an NFHS subscription. For the most part, WNY Athletics, when we go out and stream even regular season games, those games now are seen on the NFHS network. So you may already have your subscription. I'm hoping you do. But if not, go to the NFHS network, find this game, and you'll be able to see it. If you don't want to go to the Cornerstone Arena, you can drive to Lockport. It's not that far, especially for the teams that are playing. Niagara County, it's in your backyard. And Kenmore, Grand Island, Lockport, it's right there. And you're used to playing in that arena. So that's a 8 o'clock start at Cornerstone. The game prior to that will be the private school championships. It'll be St. Mary's of Lancaster taking on Monsignor Martin Athletic Association. So that's for the private school championships. And that Monday night's a big night for girls hockey, as it always is. Randy Schultz will be down there, and I'm not sure who we have on play-by-play for that game. I want to say it's possibly Joe Daniel, but don't quote me on that. Francis will have to tweet that out to you in a little bit. Francis will be there, of course, handling the production of that event. You can follow us on Twitter at WNY Athletics, or on YouTube, or on our Facebook page. Just search for WNY Athletics. That's how you're watching this show right now. No comments coming in just yet, although I got a couple of text messages here saying I look sharp. Okay, thanks. That's what's going on with girls hockey right now. Now, the New York State Public High School Athletic Association, the state tournament, it's not the finals. We don't have a championship yet for girls because we're still waiting for some other sections to catch up. But I can already tell you those are scheduled for February 17th, and then the championships will be on the 18th. Now, that's taking place out in Utica at the Nexus Center. It's a brand new facility. It's gorgeous. I've seen a lot of pictures, and I saw some drone footage, which is kind of weird. They had a drone going in and around the arena. I saw that on YouTube. It looks fantastic. The girls are really getting a nice opportunity to play in front of a nice venue there. So great job by New York State Public High School in getting that site ready. I would expect Section 3 Clinton to be there. It looks like they did punch their ticket. Section 3 Clinton will be there for sure. And we saw Clinton earlier in the year. Kenji beat them earlier this year. And I want to say Clinton beat Niagara County the night before. So there's some history there. We'll have to see how things play out in that public school championship game between Kenji-Port and Niagara County. And again, that is 8 p.m. on Monday night. And I want to thank Bill Pavone and Matt Miller for doing such a great job with the girls' website. If you're unfamiliar with the girls' website, and you shouldn't be at this point, it is www.wnygirlshockey.com, and it's pretty good. They do a great job with the site. They always have. They're in their 12th season here, 13th season now. You can go back and look at seasons past. So that's girls hockey. That's what's going on there. And boys hockey, we still have some games to go before the end of the season, but we are right at the point where we're about to unleash the playoffs. Those are coming up later this week, actually. The pre-quarterfinals, I want to say, start Thursday. So we will be out at the Northtown Center Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all the way through. We're going to carry those games. We may not have audio for every game, but we will have at least a live stream going. And again, those games are only available on an NFHS network, the Harbor Center, the Northtown Center. I don't believe that, what do they use, Rink Rat or something like that, whatever that video system is, they're supposed to turn those off for the state playoffs. We'll see if they do that. Live Barn, I think it's called. If you have Live Barn, yeah, you could try that, but I'm not sure they're going to have the Live Barn working for those games because they are playoffs, and they have asked them to shut those off when the playoff games are going so that they'll be seen only on NFHS Network. Play the game if you want. Keep your Live Barn until you need to. But, NFHS Network, what's it, $10 for the month, and you get all these games. You get every single one of these playoff games, and you got basketball coming up. You got wrestling today, girls basketball, boys basketball, the hockey. I mean, it's everything. So that's where you're going to see it if you're not traveling to those venues. And I think you're going to have to go buy tickets anyways. What do they call that? Go Tickets or Go Fan or something like that? Go Fan, I believe it's called. That's how you get into the games. You can't walk in with a ticket. You need it on your phone, and you got to show it on your phone when you walk up to the ticket taker there. Always a pleasant experience. Those girls are awesome at the table. Love talking to them. Love seeing them each and every week. All right. So, wrestling. Let me tell you who's coming on the show today. I've got, in a little bit, I got Captain Josh Robinson from Buffalo U.S. Army Recruiting coming in to talk a little bit about the U.S. Army and how they recruit in this area. He's got alongside him, it'll be Sergeant First Class Ben Canode as well. They'll be joining me in about 10-15 minutes, and they're going to talk to me about how they go about finding recruits at the high school and throughout the high schools. And I know a lot of athletes go on to serve our country, so we're going to talk a little bit about them, about the process and what's involved there. They'll be here for about a half hour. And then 10 o'clock, Chad Andrews from Center Court is going to join me. I sat with Chad yesterday at Timon for the Canisius game, and we had a fantastic time. Timon did an excellent job. At the beginning of the game, they honored all the first responders. The Hillary family was there. Fire chief, who passed away not too long ago, a nice donation was made on his behalf to Timon. So excellent job by the Bishop Timon Tigers. Athletic director Matt Weiser took care of us yesterday, put us right on stage. I had my son with me. So that was a great time, and we saw a very good basketball game, and Chad and I will be talking about that when he comes in at 10 o'clock. We'll get you ready for the boys' basketball playoffs when he gets here. I was talking about hockey, and I know I'm all over the place, so my apologies. I don't do this a lot. There are still some games going on, though, before we get to those playoffs. How about the game Thursday night between Niagara Wheatfield and Kenmore East that we did? It was a 2-1 win for Niagara Wheatfield, and that team has really come on this season. They've had some letdown years the last few years, but Niagara Wheatfield, Coach Rosen, those boys got their act together, and they're playing some of their best hockey right now at 13-4, 9-1 in the NFL. So they should be right in the thick of things now that playoffs are right in front of us. Clarence is going out to Salmon River High School today to play a game against Salmon River. They were here last year at Harbor Center. They were one of the finalists, so that's a nice test for Clarence. Kudos to them for scheduling a very tough opponent this late in the season out of the section. So Coach Rich Brooks really taking the gloves off with the schedule this year. That's very impressive to see that this late in the year. But also Orchard Park, as they welcome Fairport here at the Harbor Center. That's an 8 o'clock game tonight. You might want to check that one out. Fairport and Orchard Park. I don't know what Fairport's record is, but they come in from Section 5, and that's a team that has to deal with West Jenny and Irondequoit and Victor and those schools. So Orchard Park, again, they're scheduling some tough opponents late in the season as they get ready to make a playoff rush. Orchard Park was our Section 6 representative last year for large schools. Good luck to the Quakers today against Fairport. And, of course, some of the other games going on, Lockport and Kenmore West getting ready to finish their seasons. St. Francis is taking on Kenmore East today in a non-conference, non-leaguer. A bunch of non-leaguers going on. And I think there's some games tomorrow night, too. Let me just go to Sunday. There are a couple games. And this one here, Ken West at Niagara Wheatfield. I know Ken West is playing today, and so is Wheatfield, but that's the game. Cornerstone Arena, 105 tomorrow. They moved it up so nobody misses any playoff action, Super Bowl action tomorrow. So you might want to check that one out. And there's another one just before noon, 11:55, Cornerstone Arena on the Heinrich Rink. It's Canisius at St. Mary's. So Canisius right now having a tough go of things, I think. At 3-8, 0-7-2, and then St. Mary's rolling at 10-3-5. Their record there, 2-2-5 in the Monsignor Martin, which is always a tough division. So things are shaping up for the boys hockey. Things are winding down there. Let's get a quick look at standings in boys hockey before we cut to wrestling. ECIC 1 up in front, Orchard Park, Lancaster followed by Clarence, and then Will North. Spoke to Coach Rosen from Will North the other day, and their team is playing well. There's a well-balanced team. I know they've lost 2 of their last 5 heading into the playoffs, but that team, they'll surprise you. They have great goaltending, Will North. I expect them to be a tough out in the large schools. ECIC 2, Star Point rolling along with Will East. They're both at 11-1 in the division. Will South right behind them at 7-5, and then there's Iroquois Alden biting at their ankles at 6-5-0-1. So that's going to be another tough team. Iroquois is always tough. Duke, Big Duke does a great job with them. Niagara Wheatfield we talked about earlier in the NFL at 9-1. Then there's Kenmore West and Grand Island are right there neck and neck. Ken West has done a good job with Grand Island this year, even though Grand Island is ahead of them by a game. I like Kenmore West there. Kenmore East right behind them at 6-4-2. And anything goes when it comes to Ken West, Ken East. That's a toss-up there. Monsignor Martin, we talked about this a little bit. Nichols, 8-1-1. They won the Monsignor Martin last year. They look to do that again here. Their second year in the Fed. It's been a while since we had Nichols, but they were there last year, and they're rolling this year at 8-1-1. St. Francis right behind them at 6-2-2, and then there's St. Mary's 2-2-5, St. Joe's 3-4-2, Bishop Timon 3-6, and then Canisius has not won a game in Monsignor Martin this year. I don't know what's going on there with Canisius, but 0-7-2, that's unheard of for Canisius, and they got some work to do if they're going to make a run for the Catholic State Championships. That's what's going on in boys hockey right now. Wrestling, again, we've got 2 major events going on today. We got the large schools up at North Tonawanda, and we've got the small schools down at Lakeshore. It's individuals, state qualifiers, so it's not a team thing. This is individuals. Let's just talk about our 8 league champions real fast just to review. In ECIC 1, it was Lancaster. ECIC 2 was Star Point. They were the Section 6 Division 1 dual meet and the New York State champion. Niagara Frontier, Niagara Wheatfield, the New York State dual meet championship qualifier. Niagara Orleans, it was Newfane. That's 9 straight league titles now for Newfane. 45-0 in Niagara Orleans over the last 9 seasons. Incredible. Chautauqua Lake, CCAA 1, and Randolph, CCAA 2. Chautauqua Lake was also your Section 6 Division 2 champs. Monsignor Martin, St. Joe's, wins the Monsignor Martin High School dual meet, the All-Catholic Tournament champs, and they're tied for league record for most All-Catholic Tournaments titles in a row with 9. Congratulations to the Marauders. I know Pete Kennedy is still heavily involved with that team, and Pete always does a great job, and he's a good friend to us here at WNY Athletics, does a great job of supplying us with information out of the Monsignor Martin. So hopefully Pete's doing good. Haven't seen him in a while, but he's a good dude. How about this? We had our first ever champion in the New York State Public High School Girls Wrestling Invitational. There was Niagara Wheatfield 7th grader Gabriella Barone. She went 4-0 in Syracuse back on Jan 27th. 4 straight pins in the 100-pound bracket. Congratulations to Miss Barone from Niagara Wheatfield, a 7th grader. Looking forward to watching her career flourish. Class tournament champions, Class AA, Williamsville North and East. First ever title for North. Cam Catcherbone leading the way over there. And single A, it was Niagara Wheatfield. That's her 4th class title in the last 5. Class B was Falconer, Cassadaga Valley. 9th class title in the last 10 tournaments for Falconer. And we'll have our buddy down there, Cassadaga and Falconer have a number of wrestlers going today at Lakeshore. We'll be talking about them in just a little bit. Chautauqua Lake, they're your Class C and D champion, their 2nd straight class title for Chautauqua Lake, who had a great season this past winter. Now today, Division I at North Tonawanda, it starts at 9 o'clock, so they're well underway. The finals should start around 2:30, and again, that's on NFHS with WNY Athletics providing all the stream. Matt O'Rourke is there right now, and he'll be following the action throughout the day, and he'll be on the call. Some of the top wrestlers that you're going to want to follow, of course, you should know these guys. Cam Catcherbone, mentioned a moment ago, 4-time Section 6 champ, a 2-time state placer. From Niagara Falls, Jaden Crumpler and Amarfio Reynolds Jr. Both these guys are returning sectional champions and state placers. Now, Division II at Lakeshore. That starts off at about 10:30 this morning. Finals at 3 o'clock. Again, on the NFHS network with WNY Athletics there to produce a stream. Some of the top wrestlers out of Newfane. You got sophomore Aiden Gillings, a 2-time Section 6 champ and a 2-time state placer. Okay, you also have the Catholic High School State Championship Tournament. That's tomorrow at St. Anthony's High School. That's down on Long Island. Franny's, Joe's, Mary's, Canisius, the Gow School. They're all sending wrestlers down there. There's 2-time state champ Austin Zimmerman from St. Joe's. Now, the top 2 place winners in Section 6 today for Division I and Division II will qualify for states. I'll say that again. The top 2 place winners for Division I and Division II today will qualify for states. So good luck to all of our wrestlers today. Dalton Caldwell is the kid from Falconer that I have a good relationship with, and he's a tough kid, great athlete. So we're rooting for him today, of course, and all of our wrestling buddies down there at Division II and Division I. But Dalton, shout out to you, buddy. I know how hard you've been working. Now, in the Catholics, though, only the champion will qualify for states, okay? So not the top 2, just the guy who wins overall. He's the guy that's going to qualify for states. The State Fed Tournament is next week, 2 weeks from now, February 24th and 25th. That's at MVP in Albany. Matt O'Rourke will be there all weekend long. And you can follow Matt on Instagram. He's also on Twitter and Facebook for the updates. But, he's got Wrestling Roundtable. He's got WNY Athletics. So a lot of information will be shared by O'Rourke on our handle. You'll see him. You'll follow him. And good luck to all of our wrestlers and really all of our playoff qualifiers that are preparing to hit the mat. Some are on the mat right now. That was a lot. Oh, bowling. Bowling starts, the sectional finals is this week. Airport Lanes, Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday are the girls, large and small school. Thursday are the boys, large and small schools. I believe it's small in the morning, large at night. We won't be streaming that. It's too hard to stream for us. We've tried this for the last 3 seasons where the last 3 times they've had it, it's too crazy. We're down on lane 4 watching someone, and we're missing someone on lane 6, or we cut away from lane 6 when a guy's going for a spare. We don't want to do that to you. So we're going to be there. We're going to get some video highlights, some interviews, and then we'll share them after the event. So that's about the extent of our coverage. We'll do some write-ups. We'll make sure that we do get the wrestlers their due. We didn't do enough wrestling this winter, and it comes down to budget and it comes down to availability. We didn't have either. So we will make sure we're there for sectionals. And, of course, we've been running the website all year. We've had no complaints on the Section 6 bowling website. We've done a phenomenal job with that, keeping you up to date on what's going on with bowling and standings and so on and so forth. We're going to take a commercial break in just a second. I'll bring my guests in. Thank you very much for tuning in this morning on High School Sports Saturday. I'm Frank Wolf for WNY Athletics. I'll be back in just a few moments. Stay tuned.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
If you've been injured in an auto accident, large or small, call 681-4088. RES Physical Medicine and Rehab right away. If you are in pain or just sore, don't take chances. Call RES today and take advantage of their 24 to 48-hour appointment pledge. With no copays, RES will help navigate the confusing world of no-fault insurance with you, so you can concentrate on getting better. 681-4088. RES Physical Medicine and Rehab. The most important call you can make after an auto accident.
300 Level Media is a locally owned and operated multi-purpose media company right here in Western New York. You'll find us everywhere, covering the Bills, Sabres, Beauts, Bisons, Big Four basketball, local college sports, and much more. Our staff offers a variety of media services, from video production, live event coverage, audio broadcasts, professional voiceovers, camera operation, and videography. Visit www.300levelmedia.com or give us a call at 716-427-2600. This is 300 Level Media.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com. Ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Call 835-WOLF. Remember, you calling the Wolf. That's all you had to say. Call today.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Welcome back to Inside High School Sports, or High School Sports Saturday. I'm Frank Wolf from WNY Athletics, and I've got a couple of special guests with me today. I've been trying to bring these guys in for quite some time. We want to give the U.S. Army and really all of our armed forces the opportunity to come in and show you what they do, how they recruit. I know they're at the high schools. They were there when I was in high school, and it's another opportunity for our young kids to get involved with something, outside of going to college. College isn't for everybody. What's the alternative? A trade school. Maybe join the service. Serve your country, there's a lot of benefits to it, and who better to explain that to you than my guest today. I have Sergeant First Class Ben Canode here, and I also have Captain Josh Robinson from the Buffalo Army Recruiting Company. I'm going to bring them in so you can see these guys, and there they are. See, we got to bring, this is why Francis should be here. There we go. All right, so Captain Josh Robinson, you're stationed in, are you stationed up in Niagara Falls right now?
So one of our stations up in Niagara Falls.
Okay.
But I'm stationed company headquarters in Amherst.
Okay.
We do have stations in Tonawanda, Niagara Falls, Cheektowaga, and West Seneca, which Sergeant First Class Canode here is the station commander of.
So I'll start with Captain Josh. You've been enlisted for 10 years. Your job?
I'm a logistician.
You call them logisticians, okay.
Yes,
so I'm in logistics when I'm not here. Am I saying it? Have I been saying it wrong for 30 years?
What, a logistician? Yeah, I'm a logistics officer.
Okay,
but,
very good.
Multifunctional
But
logistician.
you transport goods that are for...
Yes, sir. So
Yes.
so
You're not moving stuff like me, like, Dick's Sporting Goods or,
no, a lot of fuel, ammo, parts,
Yeah.
supplies, the whole bit.
Okay. So if you make a mistake, we're screwed.
Yes, sir.
If I make a mistake, someone's not getting their football helmet on time. All right.
Yep.
I mean, I'm going to get yelled at either way,
That's
right? But that's cool. That's cool. And then we have Sergeant First Class Ben Canode, Station Commander out in West Seneca. Now, you're from Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Yes, sir.
And you keep calling me sir. Am I older than you? I am, a lot. It's all right. Call me whatever you want. You're from Harrisonburg, Virginia, and you actually wrestled in high school.
Correct.
So we've got like all these sectional wrestling finals going on today. Lakeshore, North Tonawanda. If you're not busy, there's going to be some dogs. Primed. Yeah, some of the toughest dudes in Western New York are on the mat right now, actually. We have, I believe it's North Tonawanda started at 9 a.m. this morning, their sectional finals. They're all looking to qualify for states. And I think you told me you qualified for states.
Yes, sir. I did.
Very
first
nice.
Place at Virginia State.
Sweet. Very cool. And Captain Josh Robinson, you ran track in high school?
I ran sprints primarily.
Okay.
So the 200, 300, 400 meter dash, and then the relay teams as well.
So our show normally starts at 9 a.m. on Saturday, and I get here somewhere between 8:25 and 8:35, depending on the Tim Hortons line down the street. So I got here this morning, and you guys were right there doing push-ups in the parking lot, and my son, like, I think he,
out a few.
yeah, but when he first saw you, I think he had an accident. I'm pretty sure he did. So, but anyways, I'm glad to see you guys were able to come in. I met Tina last week out in Syracuse. We were at the New York State High School Football Coaches Association annual clinic at Turning Stone, and she had she was one of the vendors there, and I got to talking to her, and I thought this was a great opportunity to finally bring in some recruiters, because I think the kids in high school need another opportunity to see. They need to see what other opportunities are out there. We harp on, you got to go to college, and that's not necessarily for everybody. It certainly wasn't for me coming out of high school. It took me a good probably 10 years after high school to finally mature into an adult. And I'm still not as mature as I need to be at all times. A lot of people will tell you that. But I certainly wasn't ready for the college life coming out of Kenmore West High School in 1993. I probably should have listened to one of those recruiters at the time. I think it would have changed my life had I followed my dad's footsteps. He was in the Army. Went to Vietnam and all that stuff, and so he was a veteran, and actually he just passed away a few weeks ago. So my dad, so yeah, he loved his time in the service. But he never really talked or pushed his children into the military life. But I think he would have been even more proud had we joined. When you were graduating from school, I'm going to start with you, Captain.
Sure.
Was you're going through high school? You're a junior. Is that when you started hearing about, or was that when you started hearing from recruiters, or how did the recruiting process work for you?
So for me, I went to a private Catholic school back home in Gulfport, Mississippi, and we didn't have recruiters come by. So I went to college, the University of Mississippi, and my brother joined the Army in 2005, and I always thought that, if he could succeed, so can I. So that's why I joined.
Okay, and Gulfport, Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
Talk about that. Okay, big SEC guy.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Ole Miss. That's
Ole
right.
Miss.
That's
Very
where
nice.
I went to high.
We got a kid who went to St. Joe's by the name of Casey Kelly.
Okay.
Who is a nephew of Jim Kelly, former quarterback of the Buffalo
All right.
Bills.
Yeah.
And he actually is at Ole Miss. He's a tight end, number 88 down there.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
we had Chad Kelly down there once
You had-
upon a time.
and
Swag
you-
Kelly.
Yeah,
Yep.
you also had Chad.
Yeah, that's it. Swag. Yep.
Yeah, how can we leave Chad out? He just won a Grey Cup up in Toronto. He just
All
won a Grey Cup up
Wonderful.
there. So, and he was a St. Joe's grad too as
Okay.
well. So good there. Sergeant.
Yes.
20 years enlisted. You were in the Iraq War from 2003 to 2007. Just a distinguished career. Married with two children. I know, Captain, you were recently married as well.
Recently married. That's right.
God help you both.
Oh,
but
Valentine's Day weekend too. Come on.
Exactly.
This is a great
Yeah.
weekend.
Sergeant, what made you join, and what was did you have a recruiting process? Unlike, Captain Josh, he wasn't recruited. Were you recruited in high school?
Yes and no. So I was recruited by 9/11.
Okay.
So I was a sophomore in high school when 9/11, 2001. Terrorist attacks in New York. That kind of struck a nerve. I was in biology class. At the time, I was pursuing my vocational carpentry degree, trying to get my journeyman's license. That kind of hit a nerve. And I was working at Wendy's part-time. My recruiter would be going in and out of the mall. Back when we had food courts in the mall, it was real. It was fun. It was where the hangout was.
You didn't have to worry about some crazy guy?
That's right, at the time, yeah.
No, didn't.
Technology kind of did that one in. But, yeah, saw him, said, yo, come here, Sarge, and I got you. I want to join. And he walked me through the whole process. He told me what I can expect, what kind of careers I had available. He was very upfront with me. He was like, all right, man, you just got to get that education. So I got my education a little bit quicker. And I was originally a class of 2004, but kind of made things happen. Got out about a year early, joined in 03. I was 17. Talked to mom and dad, invited them out to the appointment, and they were very welcoming to the fact that I wanted to serve.
Your parents?
Yes.
Was it a difficult conversation?
Not really, because my grandparents and my uncle, they all served either Marines or Army. Majority of the family were Army, so they were like, yeah, go Army. And they were very open.
I got to believe, well, my thought on the matter was, at a time of war, when you go into that living room and sit down with your parents and say, I'm joining, that's got to be nerve-wracking, not just for you to deliver that message to your folks, but for your parents. There was no reservations at that time because we're at war at that time.
And we were very heavily. I was there during the primary push in 03, and I was there when they did the announcement of mission accomplished. The only reservation was make sure you're protected. Like, make sure you understand you're going to be somewhere where you're going to be kind of safe as you can. So that's why I chose tanks. I was an Abrams tank crew member. So why carry your gun when your gun carry you, surrounded by X amount of inches of steel, and I can reach out and touch you a couple miles away. So that was they were very glad. They were very glad to hear tanker, because they were like, yeah, you're going to be in body armor, like surrounded. You're good.
Yeah. Still very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
How much did you grow from that experience? How much did that change your life?
Oh, huge, tremendous. It was big time, because the one thing I didn't realize was the college credits that I could get from it. You know, when I did that, and then the experience of traveling. My goodness, I had a German driver's license because I was stationed in Germany first. I had a German driver's license before my actual U.S. license, so that was pretty cool. You know, what speed limit? What's that? You know, let's go. So I learned a lot real quick. You know, it was really fun, really good.
Okay, now here we are, and you guys are living in Western New York, starting married life, raising a family here. How did you break the ice to your wife that did you meet a girl from Buffalo? Is that how you got here? Or how did you get to Buffalo?
So the Army says you go sometimes and you've got to go. You know, that's how it kind of started out. But we had met Long story short, we'd met as neighbors as I was taking care of my family. I'm in the reserve and I'm active at the same time. So I was at home taking care of my parents as they were getting up there advanced in age. So we kind of met on that end. And I told her about the Army. She said, that's fine, I support the troops. And I said, no, like I'm in. Like I'm in until I sign the contract until whenever I'm done, 60, right? Until I tell the Army I'm done. So she goes, oh, okay. So does that mean we're going to be traveling? I was like, yeah. She goes, cool. I want to get out of Virginia anyway. So here we are, you know. And,
okay. You have to have
around.
that partner in life that's
willing and
understands, you know, and you got to, you know, you have your career path. You've thought about this long and hard.
Oh, yeah.
You're joining and you're going to go wherever they tell you to go, and someone needs to be on board with that.
Very much so.
So, you know, very good for you that you were able to find someone that's
I'm very
understanding.
blessed. Very
Yes,
blessed to have that woman
absolutely.
in my life. I love her so much. So
How about you,
she's there.
Captain?
No, same here. My wife, we met once in college, but she grew up with my brother-in-law, and so
Okay.
we kind of reconnected a few years ago and got married last October. And she's moving up from New Orleans sometime this summer when the snow's gone. And
Never.
Yeah, this was a climate shock for sure,
Yes,
moving
yes.
from South Mississippi all the way up here. So
I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll be a culture shock for her as well this
Yeah.
winter.
It's, So I'll level with you guys. You may not see the sun until March 17th or 18th.
That's about right.
We got to get to St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Okay, we get to St. Patrick's Day, we're good. After St. Patrick's Day, we might get a little flurry. You might have a day
Okay.
that's in the 30s, but after that, we're smooth sailing. A lot
I
of
can't
rain,
wait.
a lot of rain, but it'll warm up the temperature. But you know, anywhere from anytime after Thanksgiving, probably that first, second week of December, all
Definitely
the way to
noticed.
St. Patrick's Day, just be ready.
Yes,
Have
sir.
have
Definitely
good-
noticed already.
Get yourself a good shovel. That's something my dad.
I got one.
Something my dad always preached at a young age. Whenever you get your home or wherever you're going to live, just get yourself a good shovel.
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
And then have a son.
Exactly.
You take care of it.
Right. He's got it.
So little
Good
does he know
values.
what's in store for him. But anyways, I think what you guys do is amazing. How do you guys approach these high school kids? And they're different, right? When I was in high school, we had mass respect for our elders. You came into our building, we knew you were there. How are you received now when you walk into a high school? I'll let
take
you
that one. Yeah, I'll take that one because
Yeah.
it's still the same. Believe it or
Okay.
not, it's still, they see us, they know who we are, we wear the uniform. There's no doubt in their
Okay.
minds who we are. So we're still received the same way. It's just the message is getting misconstrued. You know, they're thinking we're just going to go to war. Like that's all we're doing is creating war fighters. No. Like we want you to pursue a higher education through service, through the Army. And it might not be the academic education of book to book to book to book, but you're going to learn your vocational, athletics, whatever your passion is. We have every opportunity available for that. So we'll do exhibitions, we call them table exhibitions, during lunch periods and in the career centers. And they're very forthcoming in signing up. Problem is they don't understand, go to your counselor. Any counselor has access to us, the recruiter, to the front lines. And if they want to talk to a recruiter, that's all they got to do is just talk to their counselor and say, I want to just hear them out. I want to hear what their path is. I heard my parents, like I know college is a thing, but I want to hear another option. That's all they got to do.
What are the recruiting numbers like out of our area? Do you see year to year numbers, and how are they now as opposed to 10 years? Because you know what the news cycle's like.
Right.
You know, if you turn on this channel, they're going to tell you the numbers are way down. If you turn on this channel, they're going to tell you the numbers are way up. And if you look in the middle, they're going to say, they're the same. Where are numbers in terms of recruiting? Let's start with our area, then maybe on a national scale.
Okay, sir, do you want to take that or do you want me to continue?
I mean, yeah, the numbers locally are down, and then they're down across the nation. And I think a lot of it has to do with the COVID pandemic. We were out of the schools. We weren't able to interact with these high school students as much.
Okay.
And so, yeah, you see, that decline, and we're just trying to get back into our schools, be present, show that, we're here to offer an opportunity and experience to these kids.
Yeah, I mean, like we went through the pandemic, and I think my personal opinion is that I think we've lost 2 to 3 years of students. We lost a good chunk of kids because you're learning remotely. You're not out there next to each other in class every day.
Exactly.
You're not socializing. So I hate to say, did we lose these kids? Are we done? Are we not going to get these kids back? I think by you guys coming in and offering them these experiences, I think that could help. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to get you guys in here to talk to these kids about, hey, let's get you, we can help you integrate with each other once again. Are the barriers down? Like, do these kids have to get their COVID shots to join?
No.
Because wasn't that a requirement at some point?
At one
Not
point
long
there
ago,
was.
you had to?
But now it's not.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I wasn't the biggest, again, totally personal. I didn't believe in the shot.
That's fair.
I gave in to peer pressure at one point and ended up, mostly because my parents were of age, and we're seeing my parents regularly. They were not in good health, so I did it mostly for my parents.
Right.
And I don't necessarily regret it. I'm fine. I've been in very secluded areas. I'm in these schools. I'm in airplanes. I travel for work. I haven't even had a sniffle in 3 years. So maybe it was the jab that
Something
maybe it
maybe
wasn't,
that's
but
it.
I don't know what it is. But I haven't had a sniffle in 3 years.
We wash our hands a lot more frequently. That's a lot more than we used to.
So let me start with you, Captain. Are you out in the high schools every day? Is there a specific territory that you handle?
So I'm more of the managerial position.
Okay.
So guys like Sergeant Canode here and our other recruiting NCOs are in the schools day to day, and then if they want me to come out and visit a school, then they just call me up, say, "Hey, sir, come on down. We got a school Army exhibit going on." It's like, sure, I'll come down.
Okay.
Come support the guys.
So you guys probably go to the schools, but you also go to like those big events. Like I think I've seen you at the Erie County Fair next to a chopper. Was that you guys?
Next to the
we
chopper.
were next to the chopper.
chopper?
Right.
Okay. All right. Were you guys
National Guard brought that stuff.
Were you guys the ones playing cornhole?
Yes, that was us.
I remember.
That's right.
Yeah, my son
we
wanted
had
to
a
play.
great
I'm
time.
like, yeah, when you're 17, you can play with those guys.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we had a good time, and we'll be out there again this year.
Good. I'm glad you guys are doing this, and your commitment to service, is no one's ever going to be able to thank you enough for what you guys do. What can we do to help you guys get more into these schools or the attention to some of these? Is there something that we can do on our end? Other than just doing a show like today, do you guys want to know events that we're going to do? Are you looking for where there's booths? Yeah. So we could definitely pair you up with some of the bigger events that are coming up. I know that in about a week or so, we'll be at Harbor Center. Maybe 2 weeks we'll be at Harbor Center. We'll have the state championships for hockey for hockey coming in.
Nice.
And there'll be areas there. There could be an opportunity for you guys to set up a booth, and there'll be 2,000 to 3,000 people coming in and out of there to watch their high school teams. There's 6 high school teams from across 8 high school teams throughout the state coming up, and there's 20, 30 kids per team.
Wow.
That'll be coming up to Harbor Center, and all the local schools will come out and support that. Buff State, the Section 6 championships for boys and girls, that place there won't be a seat available.
Awesome.
Okay.
And there's going to be another opportunity to get in front of these kids, just to let them know. And mostly it'll be traffic, obviously. You're looking for that walk-up traffic, but just to put a presence there, I think that'd be a good opportunity for you guys to see that. And then, of course, it's a little late, but if you guys aren't busy, I know there's a bunch of wrestlers hanging around Lakeshore today in North Tonawanda High School.
I'll try my best to get out there for sure.
Those boys, you'll see some of the best athletes that Western New York has to offer.
Oh, yeah.
But you're not always just looking for that athlete. You don't.
No, because we can develop them.
Sure.
As a former drill sergeant, we that's our job. As a drill sergeant, we're there to lead, teach, and mentor, to develop them from a civilian to that warrior, to that soldier. And we always know you're going to come to us. We call it PlayStation Nation, because that's what they are. PlayStation 5 came out. I was a drill sergeant back in 2008, and even then it was still PS3, and we still call it PlayStation Nation. We know how to develop you from that into the warfighter capable of defending yourselves and the one to your left and right, 100%. So don't worry about if you're not athletically in that realm. We have future soldier training every week, and that's what we call it. That's where we meet up at all the recruiting stations contact your local recruiter and find out when they're doing their workout program and come see what it is. I mean, it's essentially CrossFit. It's fun. It's motivating. There's no, like, you've got to do this many or you're out of here. No, like, it's fun. It's meant to be fun and get your body moving like the old Play 60, back in the time. So yeah, definitely check
It's
us
all
out.
about the camaraderie, too.
That's it.
Now, we're basically, a high school sports website, so we're catering to kids that play high school sports right now, but at the same time, a lot of, we've been around since 2016, so you've got guys from 16, 17, 18, 19 that have graduated that still follow us regularly, and some of those guys you could see that are just kind of like wondering what to do with their life.
So if they were ever nationally accredited or anything on that level, we have the world class athletic program. Sorry, mouthful, but it's WCAP. It's offered to both full time and part time, and it has everything from bowling to running to pole vaulting, billiards, any basketball, football, hockey. The Army has a team for that. We have a job for that. We have a team for that.
Yeah.
So if they're up there on that level, they can play at Olympic level. We can offer them a job. They just got to come talk to us, find out the glide path, and we'll develop it. Definitely show them how to enroll.
How often when you walk into a high school, do you see kids just run the other way?
Seldom.
Okay, good.
Some of us love it because, like I said, we're out there to have a good time. Like last week, we were at Lakeshore, and we brought our Xbox, and I brought my other boss, and we were just out there talking to them. We had the age range, we had the good spirits, we were, writing down, giving out shirts, doing push-up competition for T-shirts. You were doing squat competition for water bottle. Like, we were just having a good time. It's not every time they come to us, what'd you bring today? What'd you bring? What are we going to talk about? So the energy's a lot higher than you would expect.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is it the tools to recruit? The tools you have right now to recruit, is it easier to kind of, because back in high school when you guys would come in fully dressed, and it was intimidating to a degree, but you didn't have water bottles, you didn't have T-shirts, it was down to business.
Yes.
And it's different. So the recruiting has changed.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
We've got to adapt.
Yeah.
And that's our that's what we our cornerstone is adapt or die. So we got to move on. We got to figure it out. I mean, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on social media.
Who would have thought?
Right?
We're all very approachable.
Very approachable. Don't be afraid.
You getting a lot of women in too?
Oh yes.
Okay. Yeah. One of the good guys that follows our high school coverage religiously is a guy named Roger Weiss, good friend of mine. I know he's watching. Wants to give you guys a shout out. He served in the U.S. Army as well.
Awesome.
During the
Thank you, Roger.
Vietnam War. Yeah. So he actually was in basic training with a good friend of my former baseball coach, Ray Casa, who passed away not long ago. But Roger and Ray, who I had no idea knew each other, they actually went to basic training together.
Wow.
Yeah, so
small world.
It is a small world, but Roger sends his best wishes to you guys. I'm glad you guys are here. I want to take a quick commercial and come back with you guys in just a little minute. While we take a quick break, we'll be back. You're watching WNY Athletics High School Sports Saturday.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Guys, we're back on Inside High School Sports, High School Sports Saturday with, we have our Army recruiters in today, and I lost the camera. There we go. All right. See, I don't normally produce this show. It's normally Francis Beck or Tom or Heidi. And they usually don't let me touch the computers. I usually sit where you are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I usually sit right there and kind of mind my P's and Q's.
Sure.
So I'm just. We got Chad Andrews from Center Court coming in just a little bit. Yeah, he's lost.
Okay. We've got a class for that.
We'll find him.
It's called land navigation.
Exactly.
We can teach you that.
Teach
Thursdays, West Seneca.
He sees a shining. Oh, anyways, he'll get here. What's your schedule like this week coming up? Like, what's a typical day of an Army recruiter?
So Mondays, we typically start out our meeting trying to figure out what events are going on. You know, we try to get into as many high schools as we can.
Sure.
I mean, there's only about 3 of us in my office, so we're pretty stretched. But we try to spend at least an hour, you know, in my local footprint, 600 square miles. So, I mean, we're averaging 200 square miles per recruiter. So that's the thing is, where are you going to be? When are you going to be there?
Let's
Right.
hang on. What's your?
West Seneca, so we cover all the way down to
You
North
said
Collins.
you cover 600 miles.
600 square miles, yes, sir.
Okay, square miles.
Square miles.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So we divvy it up. We try to figure out the best course of action to drive time, locations, what's going to be the most saturated market, lunchtime, stuff like that. So that's our Mondays, is developing the plan, send out some text messages. Most of the lists that we have are high school parents. So mom and dad, please be understanding that we are trying to reach your son or daughter. It's not one of those we're trying to recruit them. We just want to give them that information. Just because you sit down with an appointment with us does not mean there's an obligation to join. It's just we want to sit down, give you that time, 2 hours, hour and a half, so solely on the development of your son or daughter. That's it. So that's during the week, that's our main goal. Monday through Friday, our main goal is just to reach the student and talk to them. And come on in with them, mom and dad, guardian, uncle, whatever. Come with them. Like we're not gonna. Yeah, we want to share everything. Be fully transparent.
What's that like when you get a guy or girl to join, to sign up, to enlist? That moment when they do it and when they come back from basic training, do they come and see you guys?
Oh yes, it's exhilarating because they're a new member of the team.
Yeah,
they're a new brother and sister. You know, they're now our family. You know, as a drill sergeant, we have U.S. Army on our chest, right? And I always tell my soldiers, this is your family. You're welcome to the family. Like, you're earning your keep to stay in my family. So when they come back and they're doing hometown recruiting assistance, I welcome them with open arms, you know.
Okay, so when I travel a lot for work during the week, airport to airport.
Right.
There's nothing better for me, honestly, when I deboard a plane or when I'm getting on a plane and someone's coming on board in their, what do you call it?
Oh, and their utilities and their dress greens or their OCPs,
their uniform,
right?
They're in uniform. It's great to see. Is that how you have to travel through?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just because they're coming from that training environment. They don't really have a whole lot of change of clothes.
Okay.
They've got like that one, and they've probably outgrown it because they've gained some muscle mass. You know what I'm saying? So,
muscle mass.
Yeah, it's muscle mass. And then coming back, it's kind of that sense of pride. And when they show up, they want their family to see at the airport. They want everybody to see. They want to be proud of that uniform. So that's one reason why they do travel in uniform.
Yeah, and then they go back to their high school for hometown recruiting and in uniform. You know, they have that sense of pride, and you know, their friends that are still there can see them in uniform and say, I could do that too.
Captain, what's your proudest moment since enlisting?
Since enlisting? Oh gosh. Personal or professional? Like I mean personal, like right here, you know, like marrying my best friend, but
definitely professional.
Professional, you know, just I deployed to Afghanistan. It was my first deployment back in 2013, and bringing my team back home.
Very good.
Yeah.
And then Sergeant.
Oh, same to me. Okay.
Yep.
I'm not going to sound too pitchy, but I'm going to tell you recruiting. Like, this is where I'm going to end state. This is where I'm going to retire from. And in the last 4.5 years that I've been doing it, I thought drill sergeant would have been, you know, the best. Fighting the war would have been the best. But honestly, helping somebody transition to get out of that rough spot, to help them find that glide path and find themselves through service with the Army, there's no greater feeling. And especially when they come home and show us and tell us their stories and write their letters. Literally, that brings so much joy. Like it's awesome. So this recruiting duty has been amazing to me.
Now, because of the way Army, the way it works, you could be plucked out any second.
As far as to go ship off to war?
Or move to another location to recruit.
No, like there's fair warning. Like I had a year's notice before they were like, hey, where do you want to go?
Oh, okay.
And I get a list. I had like 150 choices.
You have a voice and where you want to go.
Very big voice. Yeah.
It was, it was Buffalo or Honolulu, right?
It was, I don't know. The milk prices out there, fam. I don't know. Volcanoes or something. I'm good. New York doesn't sound too bad. At least I can go tubing.
I was gonna say. I've tried to move out of Buffalo a few times myself, and I couldn't do it. I mean, I lived in Maryland for a little bit, spent time in North Carolina, and then traveled for different offices. You know, I work for a bigger company that had offices all over the country.
Sure.
I would go and visit, and I wonder if I can make it here. And Buffalo is the place for me.
No place
Too
like
much
home.
Family.
Yeah.
And it's a great community. Hopefully, they've all welcomed you.
Oh, yeah.
You both.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
No, it's been great.
You guys
here.
can make a nice life here.
Yeah.
I think so.
You know, just make sure you have a nice shovel and
I
a
do.
parka jacket won't hurt you.
I have one of those as well.
Short sleeve shirts today. We must be getting better.
Oh,
We
yeah.
must be getting closer to spring.
We're there. That's it.
Yes, sir.
But I want to thank you guys for coming in, and hopefully we can do this again and get together at
Absolutely.
some of these events. Maybe we can kind of, get fishtail off us and maybe put you on a broadcast in the middle of a wrestling
thank you.
event next year,
Yes.
next
Oh,
winter.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that'd
you
be
can
wonderful.
Teach us a thing or two.
Oh yeah, we'll get out there.
I don't
and
want to
shrimp.
wrestle with you though.
Yeah, we'll get out there and shrimp. That's it.
But I want to thank you guys both for coming, and we're gonna let you guys go and bring you back on again. But best of luck to you guys. Welcome to Buffalo. Hope you guys have amazing careers and finish out here, and just keep on working hard. We appreciate you guys.
Hey, thank
sir.
you. Thank you for
Appreciate
the
you.
time.
We are going to take another commercial break on High School Sports Saturday. We'll be back in just a moment. Chad Andrews is up next. You're watching High School Sports Saturday. Be back in just a moment. If I can find the commercial. Where's Francis when you need him? I told this is why they don't let me do this. 4 minute, 5 minute. There we go.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
If you've been injured in an auto accident, large or small, call 681-4088. RES Physical Medicine and Rehab right away. If you are in pain or just sore, don't take chances. Call RES today and take advantage of their 24 to 48-hour appointment pledge. With no copays, RES will help navigate the confusing world of no-fault insurance with you, so you can concentrate on getting better. 681-4088. RES Physical Medicine and Rehab. The most important call you can make after an auto accident.
300 Level Media is a locally owned and operated multi-purpose media company right here in Western New York. You'll find us everywhere covering the Bills, Sabres, Buttes, Bisons, Big Four basketball, local college sports, and much more. Our staff offers a variety of media services, from video production, live event coverage, audio broadcasts, professional voiceovers, camera operation, and videography. Visit www.300levelmedia.com or give us a call at 716-427-2600. This is 300 Level Media.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com. Ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Call 835-WOLF. Remember, you calling the Wolf. That's all you had to say. Call today.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today. Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Tina brought us some stuff. Did she? Yeah. All right, guys.
Oh shit.
Chad's here.
I just undid your retweet. I didn't mean to do that.
We're live now.
I was trying to quote it. Where?
Yeah, Chad, you're live.
Hi.
Chad
I can't even
is
see my
joining
face
me.
anymore. What happened to the screen, Frank?
You put that in front of your monitor. Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah, advertise for the U.S. Army. Look
Right.
at that.
Right on.
So Chad's here from Center Court.
Frank, what happened to the screen where I could see what we're doing?
What screen do you want?
That television, the Samsung in the corner.
How's that?
Bang.
So
Now
this
I
is
see
why
it.
they don't let me do this show. And from a control standpoint, I'm usually sitting where you are.
I like having the controls off. Let's just let it rip.
So where did you disappear to last night? I saw you at Bishop Timon,
Yes.
and then I didn't.
That's because that game ended it ended at 8:30, right?
Yes, something like that.
I had a conversation on the way out with the winning coach. Did not want to run down to the basement to search out Jason. Figured he was probably not in a great mood. And
I can confirm he was not in a good mood.
I'm 50 minutes from home at least at that point. I knew that someone was pulling me out of bed first thing in the morning, which I told you I didn't get up. Like, Frank, do you know where I live? I'm all the way out on Lake Ontario, right by the water. Frank Wolf wants me to get up and be here and wherever we are, 45 minutes from my house. Find his new studio, which I did.
Yes.
So I'm here. I'm up. We made it happen.
You tried to go to the daycare center, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I did.
And how'd that work out?
They weren't open. There was no daycare on Saturday, I guess.
They definitely weren't open. Roger Weiss is heading to O'Hara today. They're taking on Bishop Kearney at 10:30. So Roger, drive safe. I'm glad to see you're out there. Roger's like the girls' basketball guru. You're like the boys' guru. There's also Timmy Linder out there, who's also girls.
Tim Linder's pretty good.
He's the closest to center court as you're going to get. when it comes to girls basketball, he's as close as you're going to get to center court.
He's excellent. I've known Tim for years now, and he used to do a lot more boys basketball than he does. Do both, really, and now he's kind of just transitioned into the girls, which I think is fantastic for the girls, and I think he's found his niche, and I like him, and I think he does a great job.
Let me ask you a question.
Can you guys hear me, by the way? Do I need to keep doing this?
I can hear you.
All right, everyone can hear me.
I'm in the room, though.
Well, yeah, all right.
We're on a split screen, so they could see my ugly mug and then you. Our ratings went through the roof, by the way, since you...
Yeah, I bet. You want me to tweet out that I'm here?
Yeah, go ahead. Tweet out. I'll jab.
But you go ahead. What's your question?
My question was this. Where did you come from? How did you start this? Why did you start this? How many years have you been in this? Like, what high school did you go to? Like, how did you get into the whole center court thing? Let's start there.
That's a lot of history. So...
You're a history teacher, too?
No.
I heard the word history and I got confused, but I'm easy to confuse.
We are live.
We are live. We're on Inside High School, we're on High School Sports Saturday. I keep calling it Inside High School Sports, and every time I do that, Francis literally wants to punch me in the face. Because I have the kind of face you want to punch, I get it, but really, when I screw something up or say something stupid, you can see him, like, he'll be over at this little table here talking, and if you ever see Francis out there start going like this, like cracking his knuckles, I'm doing something that's irritating the living daylights out of
Call
the
his
kid.
bluff. Tell him let it rip, Francis.
I tried to. Like, I was annoying the daylights out of him yesterday, and I don't even know what I was doing other than just looking at him.
Yeah,
and he started, like, cracking his knuckles, like,
You're getting under my skin, and I've been here 10 minutes, so...
Already?
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Well, there was a point of contention yesterday. When I got to Timon, I didn't know how to get on the stage. I had to walk through...
You texted me, I didn't see it. Just walk in the dark. Yeah.
I had to walk through the dark, the door.
Open a door that doesn't look
tripped
like
on
you
that.
should be opening it.
I tripped
Walk
on the
up
stairs.
dark stairs. Don't trip.
By the way, there was a spot for Nelson next to me. Sorry, Nelson.
All right, how did this all start? Where did I come from? What's
You
my
were
highest
born-
level of education?
You were born, as far as we know.
I was born. I grew up in Wilson, went to Wilson, graduated sometime. We don't need to say when. I'm pretty old. But went to college, a couple times. But the second time around,
Really stuck?
phys ed degree, right? So I'm going to teach phys ed. I'm going to coach.
Yeah.
I did some of that, coached modified football at Wilson, was a head coach of that.
No kidding.
Loved it. Had an undefeated modified season there.
Let's go. Hang on.
Still love my boys from that time.
When was that? You could tell us that year, certainly.
2006.
Okay.
Mod Squad.
Okay. Anybody that we would know from that season that went on to do great things or have sons that do
Cody
great things?
Reimers went and played for St. Francis in PA. He ended
Nice.
up being a nice
Nice.
player, a nice high school player, went and played at St. Francis.
Sweet.
Worked for me at the restaurant in Wilson. A lot of the kids have come through and worked with me at the restaurant.
Nice.
But so get that. That's where I saw my life. I'm going to teach phys ed and I'm going to coach football and maybe some other stuff. I coached track at Wilson for a while. So I'm doing this at a time when people are mass applying for phys ed jobs. One opens up and there are 1,000 applications come in. So basically the only way you're going to get it, you're even going to get an interview, is you have to have a spectacular resume, which I did not. Went to Brockport. My grades were all right. Dean's List the last semester, but it's, there's guys with real credentials, and that's why the message to everybody should just be work hard all the time, every time. Don't take the center court route, or you end up tweeting games out and working at a restaurant after you wasted all this money on college. So you needed to know somebody just to get an interview. I did get a couple interviews through network, whatever, but it came to a point where I already have my first child, my wife gets her teaching job, and we need some adult money in this world. And I'm working at a restaurant right along. A new owner came in 2009. She offers me a management position while being able to stay behind the bar full-time and collect gratuity along with a salary and My hours increased to 60 hours a week, and I looked at that as, here's my opportunity to make some big boy money. And I took it, and I stopped pursuing education. And I really enjoyed it. I like restaurant, and I just kind of didn't look back. We went after it, and then that frees up my winters because it's a seasonal restaurant. So now I'm off in the winter, but I'm still subbing at schools while this is going on and kind of staying involved that way. As it's all going on, I start flashing into a couple games locally. There was a Wilson Newfane game one night that really got my juices flowing. It was a rivalry game. Newfane had a really nice team. It was 2006. So that got me dialed into the scene. At the same time, the newspaper's always sitting there in the morning at the school. I'm picking up the Niagara Gazette, and I keep reading about Johnny Flynn. Like, this guy sounds amazing. He was on this all-world team from last year that I never saw, the 2005 Falls team. Ugh. So I finally want to go see this Johnny Flynn, so I make it a point to go and see him. The first time I watched Johnny Flynn, it's still one of the most spectacular experiences I've ever had. He's still the best local high school basketball player I've ever seen, for sure. And I was so wowed by his performance that I wanted to see him more. Well, at this point, I want to go to Buff State. I went to Buff State for a day, and I sat in at Buff State for a day and just watched one game after another, and then every team that came in was a little bigger and a little better. You know, oh, now we're the B1s. Oh, here comes the A2s. And never forget Olean walking out, you know, this undefeated Olean team. And it just, I got hooked. I got hooked fast, and then I wanted to talk about it, so then I started commenting on a Buffalo News blog, and my comments they're long and thorough, and I'm always using the name Center Court, and all of a sudden people are responding, and I mean, I used to write so much and contribute so much in that way, and it was just all passion. So then I started going out to games all the time, wanting to talk about games, and eventually the Buffalo News blog that they had forever, they have to change their forum a little bit. It used to look a lot like my website does. They have to change their forum because they're tied to political blogs and religious blogs, and you know, people in this world today, they can't just be decent human beings, and they got to start, you know, being
I'm surprised at
muscle men behind a computer, so they're getting real chippy. Buffalo News has to change their format. Now everyone's got to register to comment. That kind of kills the whole conversation they had going. And I was like, I want to keep talking high school basketball. Don't take this away from me. It's kind of my lifeline. So I started my own. I said, I'm going to start my own website, and I did. And then Keith McShay in 2012 said, you really ought to get on Twitter for what you're doing, you know. I would recommend getting on Twitter, so I did. I started a Twitter account. Had no idea. That really changed things for me, obviously.
Yeah.
And so that's it. That's the long-winded story. It's just a labor of love, and I enjoy doing it. I've got the time to do it in the winter, and it's become a mega passion of mine. And
when do you think you joined Twitter?
2012.
I joined in 2009.
Okay.
But I don't know what my first tweet was. I'm just looking, and it looks like I started in June 2009, but I have no idea what I would have possibly have been tweeting in 2009.
I remember my first tweet. I remember saying something like,
at Will 3320.
You know, am I doing this right or something? Tweeted it. Am I doing this right?
So our stories aren't completely different. They're similar in a lot of ways. I mean, you went to college. I flunked out of college. You wanted to get into teaching. I wanted to get into doing the custodial work. That didn't happen. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing with my life back in 90-something or other, late 90s, but I was starting to grow up quickly. You know, walls were closing in, and my uncle dragged me into this logistics business back in 98. And I've been in it ever since. But, truth be known, they told me back in school, you have a creative writing ability, and you should explore this. So I did go to ECC for a liberal arts degree, and I had my opportunities to intern at 97 Rock and 104 at the time. And, you know, a lot of people know this, but yeah, I interned there, and it didn't work because my job was to hand out like drink tickets at midnight after these rock concerts, and then you turn in the tickets at the end, and you turn them in at this bar where the after party was, and then you drink your faces off till 5 in the morning. And like an idiot, I would do that underage because I didn't want to lose the internship. I thought that's what I had to do, and I ended up getting tossed out of ECC.
Mm-hmm.
And I never went back. So long story short, a couple bad jobs and decisions later, I'm working in logistics, and I loved it, and I never turned it down, and I kept at it. So, but I always wanted to do that writing piece. So like you, who's commenting on the Buffalo News, I was also commenting, but mostly on Bill Sabres stuff, and started my own blog, 300 Level, was doing Sabres media, got into the locker room, press box, all that stuff, and I'm like, this is amazing. This is what I always wanted to do. But I cheated the system. You look down the road and
you
see
pay for everything you cheat. You really do.
Yeah, you do. And so the work I was doing at 300 Level Media, no one's reading it. And if I had 200 people read it, I'm like, okay, well.
I feel that I used to write. I said I used to write so much more. I stopped writing as much as I did for a couple reasons. One of them was because I would think, man, I beat myself up. You know, but not. I would go to, hey, I'm driving down to Ellicottville tonight to watch Salamanca Ellicottville, and I would interview the coaches after the game. I would write up a game article with quotes, with statistics. I would think about it. I would put a hook in. I put a lot of energy into how I wrote it, and it might take a couple hours out of your night or your morning the next day to produce it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that those teams really appreciated it.
Absolutely.
The coaches I know do. You know, some of the players that read it, some parents. But you started to think, I'm doing this like thinking I'm doing this work for Western New York, and I was. But what I really started to think was your grand viewership is not. They're not taking the time to read this. They want what's relevant. So it became how do you make what you do relevant without taking all the joy out of it, because it just feels like too much work. So much driving is involved with what I'm doing. So I'm trying to find a compromise. You talked about cheating. Keyboarding. I was taking keyboarding in 9th grade in high school, and I ended up going through all the, what do you got to do to graduate, how many credits you get. As soon as I figured out, this isn't a required course and I can still get the exact number of credits to graduate, because that was my lame brain in high school, was thinking that easy way out, I dropped keyboarding. I still don't know how to type, so I got to do it like this. It's another reason I stopped, because over the years, pounding out all of this typing, my neck's always like this. Well, pretty soon my hands start hurting and everything's aching. I think I have carpal tunnel. I don't. It's coming from your neck. You're straining the nerves coming off your neck from bad posture. So I've learned a lot of things over the years.
I didn't notice any bad posturing by you, though.
You mature over the years, and so my message back to the kids that listen or care about any of this is, don't cheat yourself. Work hard in high school, work hard in college. Every shortcut you take is going to come back on you a little bit.
Tenfold.
On and on.
Tenfold.
No one wants to hear all this sportsmanship, goodwill message from me this morning, but work hard. You should.
I enjoy
it's
it.
only going to help or hurt you.
So somewhere around 2014, 2015, after doing the 300 level for about 4 years, we did, as 300 level, we went out and did maybe some high school hockey.
Yeah.
And more people read a high school game recap than any other Sabre recap I did combined.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, we're onto something. I also wrote a NASCAR article one time, and it got picked up by this J-Ski on ESPN. Now, again, I wrote for 5 years, I was in that Sabres press box, 20 games a year, maybe 30. And I might have had 2,000 read all those articles combined. There might have been a total of 2,000 people. One NASCAR article on Tony Stewart, who ran over some kid up in Syracuse, got like 2,500 hits. When I hit send and I shared it to this J-Ski guy, he retweeted it, or he published it on the ESPN site. It took off after that. I'm like, whoa, maybe I should write about NASCAR. Who's going to run over someone next? But the truth was, the high school is where it was at. That's why we started the WNY Athletics. That's why I went in that direction, because we knew then that they needed more coverage of high school sports. And, I had met some people like Dave Rickey, who helped us out really get this thing started. Without Dave jumping on board,
Dave was good.
Probably wouldn't be here. So, kudos to him. So you're running away with center court. You're starting it. You're bumping. you're networking with the Keith McShays and things of that nature. Did you appear on his show too?
Yes.
A number of times.
Yeah, Keith was great to me because there was a mutual respect. I mean, Keith was awesome. Keith taught me so much about what I was doing, and I think he appreciated where I came from and what I contributed. He would always tell me, "You should have your own thing. You know, you should." And when I started my own thing, it was right after the Buffalo News was getting clipped with what he had helped to build. So I think that bothered him in the beginning, but. Just only because what he had built was being taken away from him against his own control, and he was watching me carry that torch a little bit. But at this point, he's nothing but supportive with everything I've done. Now that he's got his new job over at the Canisius High School.
I didn't see him last night.
It there.
I thought for sure I would have seen him at Timon yesterday. I'm surprised, but he's a family guy too now.
He sure is. He sure is. He came to my classic this year, first classic he's been to. That meant a lot to see him there because he was with me like in the very beginning when I'm starting all this up. He's the guy that taught me so much, and then he leaves Buffalo News. Miguel Rodriguez came in. Miguel, a dear friend of both of ours. Miss Miguel dearly. Miguel was such a good writer, such a nice man, such a funny guy. I mean, I don't think people realize how much time I would spend with Miguel in the winters. My phone would ring all the time, and Miguel was a long-winded guy.
Yes.
And he was tough to understand toward the end of his life, but he was so enjoyable. So he would call, and I would hold the phone up, and Miguel's picture would pop up, and my wife and kids would see it, and they'd go, "Oh, all right, see you in an hour." And they would all just scatter, and that meant I got to commit an hour. I got to listen to try and hear what Miguel's saying, and we're going to go on for a while, and I'm going to wait to get a word in and make him laugh, and he's going to say a bunch more. Miguel was great.
He's missed. Did you read Miguel's stuff when he was at the Niagara Gazette?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No,
See, we played hockey with Miguel. He was.
I knew Miguel was.
I told you that, right? Did I tell you he was my goalie?
Oh yeah, we've talked Miguel.
I don't know if there's a picture of Miguel up here or not. I thought we had a picture of Miguel on the wall. There's got to be.
The first time I met Miguel, he was my size. I meet him up in the press box of the stadium for the high school football championships, and this was way back, like probably 2009, 2010, something like that. Yeah. So nice to talk to, and he was just a hockey guy who got assigned to pick up a high school game that day. We chatted for a while. Really liked him, and then a few years later, he's on the scene.
Yeah, he did a great job. He was, I know the Buffalo News is now doing some kind of awards in his honor, and I
very appropriate.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Clevis picked up where Miguel left off, and he's doing a really good job. Clevis is doing a real good job.
He brings a different style to what he does. You know what? And they all, Keith, Miguel, Clevis, everyone's got their own style. All good people.
Yeah, I wasn't really around much I read Keith a lot, but I didn't know Keith until maybe he was off the high school beat when we came into.
Keith was just overdrive. He was, okay, you're going to make me write this article, that's where you're sending me, but I'm also going to go nuts on Twitter tonight. I'm going to start this show. I'm going to write this extra piece that I don't have to. I'm going to maintain a blog. He was passionate about it.
He was very passionate.
He was into it, and that's really what reflected his work was. It was more than a job to him.
Your extension of his basketball coverage.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
With my own stuff,
Sure.
I've got my own style of stuff he would tell me you can't do, you shouldn't do, and I would do, and we're different,
Who gave you the Buff State windbreaker? Where'd you get that from? Because that's
Stephen Barry's. You remember Stephen Barry's discount store in the Walton Galleria Mall? It was probably like a $7 windbreaker. I still had it. Looked cool. That was before the basketball stuff. I mean, that's like a 1990s joint that I wear around. I bust it out once a year on quarterfinal Friday and quarterfinal Saturday. And the game I watch, whichever team wins and is going to Buff State, we take a picture. I'm coming in your locker room. Let's get a picture and tweet it out. You guys point to Buff State. It's a cool tradition. I like that one.
Is there a JCC one? Because I'll be down there on March 3rd.
No, you know what?
You don't think there's a JCC
I'm sure there's something out there. Yeah.
Double X.
But that's going to put the pressure on me to get to a game, down in the backwoods.
Well, we can send print. We'll send Tom would
hey,
go.
Clymer, you just won. Where you heading?
JCC, baby.
Yeah.
So you got a hell of a schedule coming up. I don't know how you do it.
I walked out to my car this morning and I said, this is how you're going to get in shape for these Saturdays coming up when you got to be up to Buff State at 10 a.m. or you got to be out to regionals in Rochester this year.
2 sites.
2 sites. The first game on the regional Saturday is at 11 a.m. They got 3 games at one high school. Then you got to pick up and race over to another high school to cover 2 more games.
So we know Rush Henrietta. Where's that other one? Do you know what the other one is?
Gates Chili.
Gates Chili.
Starts at Gates Chili, and then the last 2 games are at Rush.
Can you get there?
Schedule.
Can you get there between game 3 and 4 though?
You can get there, yeah. It's going to be uncomfortable and just not, what you're going to get is you're going to have people that never went to the first one that are already set up, so you're going to be fighting for parking and space when you get there, and you're going to feel rushed. And it's a long day when you're trying to cover 5 games, 2 venues, get up first thing in the morning, drive out to Rochester, all of it. But
now, do you have someone
you'll
that's
love it,
going to
so
go with
do
you?
it. No.
I know.
You're Frank Wolf and I'm Lone Wolf. I like to fly.
Can you
freedom
do
is
this?
good.
Pick someone up. Maybe your daughter will go with you. She can drop you off at the door though, and then go park your car. Do they have valet at Rush Henrietta? Use the valet service.
That would be nice.
That's something we can go into.
That's really
business.
calling in a favor. That's thinking you're pretty big time when you're.
We should start a valet service at Buff State.
You just find an illegal parking spot, make it work for you and get in there.
Put Channel 4 sticker on it.
No, you don't do that. That's another shortcut. It's a shortcut. Remember, we said we don't take shortcuts. And you come out and your car's dinged.
We'll talk about
ticketed.
this off air.
Yes.
We don't want to get anyone in trouble. All right, so you got a lot of work coming up.
Yeah, good work.
Of course. I know we don't have a heck of a lot of time. We got a half hour, bro.
Yeah, we got plenty of
Do I
time. We
need
got brackets come out next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to produce those and get them up on my site. And
Do you need
keep
any
them
commercial
updated.
breaks, or can we go all the way through to 11?
We can just rip. I mean, they might wish we were giving them a break, but
Yeah.
that's all
We've
right.
already thanked our sponsors.
If my eyes turn yellow, I'll run out and take a break, and you can wing it for a minute.
What do you want to talk at all about last night? Start there. Or do you want to talk about the schedule that you have coming up between now and quarterfinals? Let me ask you a question. I know where you're going today. They don't know where you're going today. Why don't you tell them where you're going today?
Niagara Wheat Field, because they're hosting Niagara Falls, and both of those teams have 2 league losses in the NFL, so this is a huge game. They're both large schools in the NFL. I believe, and I don't want to say it for fact because maybe I'm wrong, but I believe if Niagara Wheatfield wins this game, they would go play Loop. I think the winner of this game goes and plays Newport in the NFL championship game.
Okay.
Because Wheatfield just lost to Lockport, they also have a loss to Falls. Falls lost Newport. They don't have a second loss, but this would be their second loss if they were to lose to Wheatfield today. So I guess in my theory, I don't know what their tiebreakers are, and that's why I think this game is so big. And my theory would be, okay, you guys each won head-to-head. Wheatfield, your loss was to AA Lockport. Falls, your loss was to B Newport.
Okay.
Between the two, we're going to favor your strength of loss to Lockport over the strength of loss to Newport. Maybe that's not how they do it. What do I know? Don't take that for any kind of fact. But
because there's so many classes in Section 6, would it be easier to start in Monsignor Martin, toss a few teams around there? There's correct me if I'm wrong, there's still 2 divisions, right?
I mean, let's just, last night we were both there.
Yes.
Number 1 versus number 1. Canisia's playing really well right now. That's a sweep over Timon, and Timon, I will always maintain, is the most talented team in Western New York that I've seen this year. They got 4 guys that can just flat score the ball. It was impressive what they came in and did last night. What I saw out of Canisius, my description of the game was they controlled both tempos. In the beginning of the game, that game was fast-paced. There was a lot of scoring. It favored Canisius. The second quarter, the game slowed right down. 3 field goals, total of 14 points between the 2 teams. Timon won the quarter, but that felt like Canisius has it at a pace that they'd be very comfortable playing, defending well.
I noticed the ball just wasn't falling for Canisius.
Yeah, in the second quarter, they missed a ton of
Because
shots.
they had would they go on that 6-0 run or 8-0 run? Timon did to take the lead, but Canisius had their chances. The ball just wasn't falling, and from in close, 3 feet, 8 feet out, they just weren't putting the ball in.
Yeah.
How about those rims? You brought it up a number of times.
I did. I said to someone on the way here today, that rim that Timon shoots on in the second half is the greatest rim in Western New York. I could shoot pretty decent on it. It is so soft.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What was your big takeaway from the game yesterday, and how much does this sweep play into the locker room at Timon if they have to match up with them? And then
I think it's all big. I think it's all important. My takeaway is Canisius knows exactly who they are, and Canisius knows how good they are. And Timon knows how good they are, and maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe Timon's got to stop believing how good they are and
just
get hungry. You know, it's.
Humphrey, number one for Timon, saw a passion in the kid's eyes. You could see it, clear as day. I don't know if that kid's going to go on and have a huge collegiate career, pro career, whatever. I have no idea. But I can tell you, if that kid puts the same kind of energy and determination into whatever he decides to do in life as much as he did last night, he's going to be a very, very highly successful young man, because that kid had a look yesterday that you don't see in a lot of athletes.
He scored 29. It was a game high. Picked a lot of those up in the fourth quarter. Just kept bucket after bucket after bucket in the fourth.
He's got them back to that game.
If you watch Jacob Humphrey and you know him, and I'm glad you're bringing this up because I've told him, I don't think there's a kid I've seen play harder than he plays.
Okay.
Opening tip to final whistle, the passion, both ends. He is outstanding. And I think on the surface, you know, a layman fan of Western New York high school basketball that's heard of Timon is saying, yeah, they got those guys, Harrison and Harris, right? Paul Harris's son and that Jaden Harris who's got the D1 offers, all right, Jaden Harrison. They have both of those. Jacob Humphrey has to be a huge part of any Timon conversation. He is so important. And then, you know, Malachi Parker, not too shabby either.
Where I thought Timon could improve, which is crazy for me to suggest it, but yesterday, I think going forward, if they have the chance to play Canisius again, they need to be a little bit more physical. And they are a physical team. I think they got to be a little bit more physical with Canisius.
Figure out a way to keep Shane Cerconi off of boards, which is near impossible.
That's near impossible, but that's what it's going to take.
At doing it.
So can they cycle in more forwards to kind of take those fouls, or just work through? I don't know, but you know, Coach Rose will figure it out. He'll find a way. Will the kids be able to do what he's asking them to do? That remains to be seen. Tough out. Timon, you said it yourself, number one versus number one.
Yeah.
But can Timon play a more physical game than they did last night?
Well, they're going to have to. They have to figure something out.
How can Timon beat a team like Canisius in your eyes? Because you see these teams way more than anyone else. Was it just a case yesterday where the shots weren't falling for Timon? Because it was a 3-point game for a long time.
No, I don't think that was the case. I think rebounding would be a big start. You've got to figure out a way to not get limited to one shot by Canisius.
Second chances weren't there.
Right. You need to defend them better. You need to come up with a better plan for Shane, because Shane is going to get so much that if anything that you can do to limit what Shane does, close off his side. You know he likes to attack from the left. He's a beast around the boards.
So you're concentrating on Shane so much, that's going to open up Granto to more opportunities.
It's going to open up Granto. I'm going to leave, you know, I'm gonna let Jacob Humphrey and Luke Granto sort it out.
Yeah, that was that was amazing to watch those two guys.
Oh, they're both such competitors.
Yeah,
they're both such competitors. At the end of the game, I hear the Timon student section ask Granto, you know, when they're down double figures at the end, how'd you guys get swept by Joe's? And as they say it, I'm like start to answer the question. I like look up and I'm like, well, how? And then he finishes the sentence back to him. How'd you guys get swept by us? You know.
Yeah, that kid's impressive, and he can
Luke?
dish it out. Oh yeah.
Luke is an intelligent human being, too.
Yeah.
I don't know if people realize how smart he is. He's pretty funny.
So, are we looking at a Timon Canisius finals, or are you not counting St. Joe's out of the mix, St. Francis?
You can't count St. Joe's out of the mix at all. St. Joe's plays Timon on Tuesday.
Mhm.
St. Joe's has swept Canisius. I mean, there's still a path, a very real path for Joe's win on Tuesday. They're the 1 seed. Now Canisius and Timon got to sort it out in the semis, and Joe's plays the winner. So
Okay.
I think you're going to see another Timon Canisius game, but I don't know when that happens. It's matchups, too. I think Joe's matches up better with Canisius than they do with Timon. I think Canisius matches up, they've shown, in 2 games. I mean, the first game, Nakai Harris didn't play when Canisius won at Canisius. He was there last night, and Canisius seems to have moved the needle a little bit between the 2 teams. So we'll see. Playoffs will answer a lot.
2 divisions, though, in Monsignor Martin.
There's an A and a B, but at the end of the day, it's all one Manhattan Cup tournament. And, you know, there's a very convoluted process to how it all works, and nobody understands it.
No.
And I need to send people all the verbiage. You have to go through it with an attorney to figure it all out.
Can you explain
It's
that?
complicated. I'll read it real fast to everybody. So
Do you
they
have
can
it
all-
up?
Yeah, I got it. I'll find it.
I want to say, and I think you told me this yesterday, that the Monsignor Martin, the boys' championship games are not the same time as the Section 6.
No, the Manhattan Cup final is Sunday the 26th. If Sunday is the 26th, then that's when it is.
Okay.
I think it's Sunday the 26th at the Kessler Center. The semifinals.
Because you know me, I love to die on this hill. I think that the Monsignor Martin, what they did in regards to football, was an injustice to high school football fans across this area. I'll say that. They know how I feel. There's no reason why St. Francis should have been playing that game on Saturday night when they knew the Section 6 championships was going on at the same time. You
Yeah.
had all day Sunday to play that game, or you could have played another time. They should not be playing the championship games at the same time. I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm not even asking you to comment.
It's really tough to make make fans choose, to make the media choose. I would say this to anybody. What would happen to me, because it's happened a couple times where, hey, it's Buff State night. There's 3 games at Buff State, and the Manhattan Cup championship is over across the way at the Kessler Center. You pick what you want to see. I don't want to have to pick, because I have spent my whole winter driving all over the place, you know, championing these teams and giving them coverage and following their every move all season. And now, hey, it's the championship, and you pick. This team got to Buff State, and they want to see you in your seat doing what you've been doing all season. And the 2 best Catholic schools are slugging it out for a title. You pick where you want to be. I want to be both. Don't make me pick.
Yeah.
Yikes. Let's
I'm
get
off-
all the games at Buff State and just
I'm off
combine
that
it.
high horse.
Let's do that. All right. Any team, here we go, Manhattan Cup. This is how they came up with this. Any team that finishes in the top 4 with a winning percentage above 500, 8 wins or more, is only eligible for the Class A tournament. That means Class A state tournament. Any team that finishes the season with a winning percentage of 500 or less, 7 wins or less, and is classified as a B school will be eligible for the B New York State regulation round if they are eliminated beginning with the second round of the playoffs. It's already confusing, right? That's where you need a lawyer and you got to keep spelling it all out. Then there's, you know, it goes on, but here's my issue with it all. You've come up with a system to say, well, if you're too good of a Class B team, we're not going to really let you be a Class B team. Even though we're letting you start the season and be a Class B team and be ranked and call yourself Class B, if you're really good, you should be Class A. If you're good enough to win the Manhattan Cup, you're Class A. Hey, maybe so. Maybe so. Let's say it another way. Newport is in a league with Niagara Falls. They're the only B school in the league of A's and double A's. If Newport wins the NFL championship, Should Newport have to go play in Class AA this season? You were good enough to win a league of all large schools. Why are you masquerading as a B? Because they're a B. You know? So, hey, you're good enough to beat the AA's. Go win a Class B state title. You earned it. So my issue really is instead of coming up with a convoluted process to make it, and we've changed it because it didn't used to be like this. Park was a B team, and they won a Fed. O'Hara was a B team that reached a Fed and lost. Doesn't happen often. It's not like we're some perennial Class B Federation power around here, and they said, we've got to stop Western New York from just sending these dynamos to us. That was never really the issue. It's more, I think they're saying, hey, Timon, Nichols, you guys look competitive enough. Look at your roster. We think you're competitive with the A's. And they are. Nichols went in and beat Canisius in double overtime. Obviously, Timon is excellent. Obviously, I know they got swept by Canisius, but they've got to win over Joe's. They've got to win over Francis, the other two A's. We know how good Timon is. If you want him to be an A, just make him an A. Sorry, you're an A. Timon, you're an A this year. I know you want to say you're a B, but you're not. You're an A. And make it that way from the beginning of the year instead of creating a path of, well, you can call yourself a B, but we're going to make it so that you can only advance as an A. It confuses everybody. No one can make sense of it. So let's just tell them you are what you are. And why is the Nichols girls team an A? Nichols girls is A, but Nichols boys is B. Is that right? I mean, you want to scratch your head some more. Anyway, you got me all negative and ranting now. I don't want to be like that.
By the way, not completely off topic, but Kadri Allison actually is with the Cowboys now with the Atlanta Falcons. That's just in. He was at the Time and Canisius game yesterday. He looked spiffy. But I tweeted out that he was with the Atlanta Falcons. I had no idea he was now with the Cowboys. I was corrected. With that being said, it was good to see an alumni come out to hostile territory.
Somebody texted me and said they can't hear or listen. Is that right?
Why not?
I don't know. They sent me a picture of this. That's what they're seeing. Is that possible? Someone's seeing that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a commercial when the commercial was on, but we do play commercials. I see you.
Yeah,
I'm watching it right now.
It was at 10:19. Did we run a commercial at 10:19?
10:19. Possibly. I may have screwed up at the very beginning before you got on.
Somebody text me right now and say, you guys are live. We can see it's on. That I haven't just been ranting
live.
about
stuff. I mean,
stuff.
we are definitely on. I'll show you. Let me figure out how to.
All right, good enough.
I'll pick it up while you're chatting.
I believe you.
Okay, we talked Monsignor Martin. Let's just go to double A's for a second. Or we'll spend as much time as you want on double A's.
Hey, I got it. Adam Bennett, Salamanca. I can see you. You're ugly as ever. Cover your face. All right, thank you, Adam.
Adam Bennett from Salamanca?
No, that's not what he said.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You were at Salamanca, Fredonia, were you not?
I sure was.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we got, 10 minutes?
Yeah, let's go double A's. What do you like what's going on in double A's right now? Who do you see? I hate putting you on the spot, but it's fun.
It's all right. I like a lot about double A.
Ball State. Who gets there and why?
Jamestown's going to get there. Well, we'll see. They should. Jamestown should be the number 1 seed based on how their league is going. That would be my guess. That would leave Falls and Health Sciences as a 2-3, which creates a game between them and the semifinals, which would be awesome. The winner would get a Jamestown, maybe I'm not looking at the seedings, I don't know, but if you're asking me to just power rank double A, and that's never how the seedings fall, I'd love to just be able to power rank the teams and say, this is how you're going into the tournament, but, who am I? I think Lockport is the 4th best double A team. So you've got Jamestown, Health, and Falls, who we all know are up there. Maybe not in that order. I think Health right now deserves to be considered the number 1 double A on the streak they're on. Then Lockport, very talented, very good team. They just beat Wheatfield. I think they're probably the 4th. Then, for me, it would be a Clarence Will North, who, between those two, who was your 5, 6. I just watched Will North lose at the buzzer to Jamestown. I think a lot of this Clarence team, I know they've had a little ups and downs, but when I've seen them, I like them. They got Grayson White, who's a load and a polished big man in this area right now. They're few and far between, and he could change a game on his own. Doug Radka does a nice job with that team. Any of those guys. Lancaster started real good. They've been struggling late, so they seem like they're not
Is that a team that
tuned
that
up for the
lost their
playoffs right now.
Is it fair to say that it's a team
Maybe they
that
will
may
be.
have lost their identity?
Maybe it's a team that's, new coach, first year, tough league.
They have to work through that.
Every team you're playing is good in your league, or every team is they're of your caliber. ECIC 1 is a tough league.
Yeah.
People think, wow, they're the 7th best team in their league. Well, go look at that league.
So, is there a dark horse there? Would you be surprised to see an Orchard Park reach Buff State? Would that be a shock to you?
I mean, if you asked me when I was watching them play at the beginning of the year and they were cooking St. Mary's, I would have said, no, I think this team's playing awesome. And then I watched McDonald get hurt, and they didn't end up winning that game after he left. And I guess just result-wise, it hasn't quite panned out for Orchard Park as well as I thought it would. Could they be a dark horse? Sure. Yeah, they got 3 guys that can play basketball on that team. They got a great athlete in Evans.
Mm-hmm.
To me, my dark horses would be those 2 teams, North and Clarence, if you're looking in Double A. But
And then in Double A's, your Player of the Year candidates.
I don't know. Player of the Year candidates. They're all Player of the Year candidates until the season ends. I never put pressure on kids and say, you're a preseason all this or anything. They know who they are. I think if you say that he's a Player of the Year candidate and then he's not, well, what did he do to lose it? Or I'll put pressure on teams, but not individual players. I just try to lift all these high school kids up at the end of the year, and then at the end of the year I say, here's my all center court team based on how I saw it, and I'm not trying to upset anybody. It's only ever intended to be positive. It's my opinion, and I just push it forward.
Let's go into A's.
I think that Amherst is a massive Class A favorite.
Have you
It's
seen
the
a
overall
team
Class A favorite? It's
defensively speaking, is this one of the best defensive teams you've seen
out of Amherst?
Out of Amherst.
No, I think that's just their team identity. They defend.
Okay.
The problem with Amherst, Chris Kenzie said, when's Center Court going to make an appearance in the jungle this year? And the honest answer was just probably not going to happen because you're 20 points better than everybody in your league this year. And South had a nice game with them and played them within 10 in that rematch at their place. But when you're that dominant in the league, as much as I want to go watch Amherst play, I want to see a good game. So if there's a better game for me to get to that night, well, I know I'm going to see them there. What kills me is when there's teams that get to Buff State that I'm seeing for the first time, because I like to spread it out, but I'm always partial to I want to see the game that's calling me every night, and that's how you see me end up seeing Monsignor Martin games, because they're always very good, and that league is compelling to watch, and that's why I'll get down to the Southern Tier to see Salamanca play Randolph this week, because that is the best game in Western New York, and I'll drive where I need to see it.
What night is that?
Wednesday.
You're going down to Randolph on Wednesday?
Heck yeah, that's the big cystic fibrosis game for Andy Herrick.
Okay.
That's a great night down there. I think I shouldn't be the only guy driving from this area. I think all you fans listening to this, it's Wednesday night. Look at the schedule. There's not much going on. You wanna do something special for yourself? Put Salamanca High School into your maps and get your butt down there and watch this game. Anybody that was at the Classic and watched Randolph beat Nichols, I think that should open your eyes to how good these teams are, how hard they play. They're going to come in and play that hard against Salamanca. Salamanca is excellent. They play hard too. It's a rematch. Randolph clipped Salamanca earlier. Salamanca's been on fire lately. I can't wait for Wednesday night.
Cool.
The rivals. Andy Herrick's a great kid. It's a great event, a great fundraiser for him.
I've never been to Randolph, and my Wednesday night is wide open.
It's Salamanca.
It's at Salamanca?
Out Salamanca.
I've never been to Salamanca, so I'm 0 for 2.
So go. Let's go.
I'm 0 for 2 there. You won't pick me up because I'm out of route for you.
Well, there might be a different plan on Wednesday night prior to the game, but I gotta see if it cooks or not. If it doesn't, then we can talk about who's riding with me.
Start cooking it.
Right.
All right, so we're in A's. We like Amherst.
Do we get cut off the air at 11?
No.
If we go over, it's
No,
okay.
we're going over. I run this. Francis ain't here to kick me off.
You're a boss.
We
Good.
go to 11:30 if we want.
Okay. Let it run.
Yeah, go for it. It's 10:56. What do you got? You got A's.
Yeah, I got
You
nothing.
talk about
I can
Amherst.
talk.
You got A1. You got A2. We like Amherst.
We like Amherst
Kenzie's
a lot.
doing a great job.
Over there in A2, real quick, you got South Park, who just beat McKinley. That was a nice win for South Park. You're capable of beating McKinley. You're capable of showing up and playing against Amherst at Buff State. So there's that. There's Starpoint. Looks like they could be a Buff State team this year. That's pretty awesome. You know, Luke Vogel in his first season at Starpoint. I would love to see the Spartans.
Took over for
Gillicata.
That's tough shoes.
We'd love to
Those are
see
big shoes.
Vogel and the Spartans come rolling back into Buff State for the first time
certainly
since
possible.
Christian Nodine was there.
Certainly possible.
And A1, McKinley, IPrep, Niagara Wheatfield.
What's keeping Niagara Wheatfield back? Fletcher doesn't have enough help?
I see. Yeah, I mean, if Fletcher had more around him, and you hate to like say, yeah, I think
I agree.
I watched iPrep the other night, and my takeaway from iPrep was, man, there's a lot of talent on that basketball team, and you won't say who's who, as far as the little specifics of it. Actually, I wanna look this way because. Anyway, what I tell iPrep after the game, or my takeaway from that is, a couple of their most talented players on that team, the body language is not where it should be. The effort, you see this, and you know, they D up when they want to. Hey, East just scored, and now we got to get back down on the other end, and I'm going to walk up the court. You know, timeout, I'm going to walk over to my huddle. You want to beat Niagara Wheatfield? That's what you're going to have to change. And you know, and that's the, so how does Niagara Wheatfield with maybe a little less talent, how do they beat iPrep? Well, they've got the best player in the game by a mile in Xander Fletcher, one of the most underrated guards in Western New York.
Might be
Even
one of
though
the
he's
best athletes.
highly rated, he's still underrated.
He might be one of the best athletes in Western New York.
But look at Xander. Look at what Xander's done at Niagara Wheatfield. First of all, well, look at him. He's skinny. He doesn't look. He's not much to look at. Like if you're looking for an athlete. Okay, well, realize how good of a high school quarterback he was. You ever see him throw a baseball? You watch what he does on the basketball court. So, just because he doesn't look like an athlete, guess what? That look is deceiving to you. Kid's an athlete. But Niagara Wheatfield. How many times have you seen Niagara Wheatfield in sectional finals over the years? Not a ton, right? Sophomore year, goes into an undefeated McKinley, beats McKinley at McKinley, gets them to a section championship in A1. Last year, gets his team to the A1 championship, beats Max Schneider and the Flames in a treat of a game to watch at Buff State.
Yep.
And this year, he's had his team in the top 10 all year. He's got them compete. He's leading a team. Sean Watson's a very nice player for them, too, so is Luke Walk. But
I think
he's pretty good.
I think Fletcher's one of the most underrated athletes in our area.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because the
quiet.
football team didn't win a lot of games. But that's not a reflection necessarily on him at all. I'll tell you, the coach from Jamestown football told me he was one of the toughest players that they faced all year.
Yeah.
And they were playing with Jamestown for.
That's high praise from Langworthy, right?
Yes, that was they were going.
He's a fairly accomplished coach.
He might know a little thing about football. He's on his way to the Super Bowl right now, by the way.
Yeah, good for him.
So, anyways, okay, does NT sneak in? Could NT sneak in?
Yeah.
Okay.
To Buff State?
Yeah.
I think they'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about NT.
I mean, Ryan Mountain's probably mad at me right now that I said McKinley and iPrep and Wheatfield and I didn't say NT, but
I brought that up,
yeah,
so I wouldn't be mad at both of us.
He's still going to be mad at me. But
Joe Krause is going to be mad at you for not bringing
Jude, I don't want to make Joe Kraus mad
You don't?
because I have mad respect for Joe Kraus. Joe Kraus is a blessing to that whole greater Niagara region and his coverage. He
Very
is
lucky he
awesome.
landed there.
He is
Very
awesome.
lucky he landed at the
He writes so good. His articles are so good. He's such an authentic kid. I watched him in high school get a start in The Professor, and I think the world of Joe Kraus, and I think that he couldn't be in a better spot for a coverage area that's going to appreciate what he does for him.
Nobody has touted Niagara County, especially North Tonawanda, but Niagara County in general. Joe Kraus has been a champion for Niagara County.
Yeah.
And we're lucky to have him. We're lucky that we had him at WN Athletics for as long as we did.
He's professional. He's classy. He, keeps it positive.
Do you know, for like the first 22 years of his life, he never had a Chick-fil-A? Didn't even know what it was.
No, that's a fast fact about Joe. I didn't know. There's probably a lot of things I don't know, but
Didn't know what
I'm
Chick-fil-A was.
highlighting the good ones I know.
We're coming. We did a game in Rochester. I don't remember what it was, or Syracuse. We're coming home, and I'm like, "Hey Joe, check this. Let's go grab Chick-fil-A." He goes, what's this place? What do you mean you don't know? I never heard of it. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it?
He went home with a bag of Chick-fil-A. He had a sandwich, and he goes, "Pardon me, I'll be
a
right
good
back.
story.
I'll be back. Start the car." I start the car. Joe comes walking out with 2 bags full of Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
Chick-fil-A is a good sandwich, and if I'm out, coming in from the south heading to the pew, I'll swing in and grab one because you can do it in 5 minutes. But just the line in Cheektowaga, they run the best drive-through line you ever saw. It's still too intimidating to look at. You're in Cheektowaga and you see this Chick-fil-A line. It's like 4 lanes, and they're, "Come on through, you so-and-so." I'm like, I don't want any part of it. I'll grab the empty McDonald's right next door, McDonald's is so mad at that Chick-fil-A. Look at us over here. We're starving for business.
You would think their business would have gone up because people don't want to wait in the line. You're a prime example. You're not waiting in that line.
I'm not waiting in that line.
All right, so we're talking A's. NT can sneak in. The McNeil kid is fun to watch.
Yeah, he is.
He's fun to watch. Will East?
Will East, I think if I'm remembering how I saw it last looking, and like I said, I don't ever stare too much at how the seedings are going to shake out. I feel like I got too much going on, and it becomes this complicated math formula. I got to keep going back through and making sure I'm right on, and just got too busy driving all over watching games for it. So I just wait for it to come out. I think it's a Will East NT thing that's setting up.
Okay.
One of them would get to Buff State, one of them wouldn't. A quarterfinal matchup between the two. I would say that NT has been more consistent this year. Will East capable? Absolutely. Yeah, Will East they're a good team. They're a lot like last year's team without Max Schneider and Jake Notaro. But you found out how important Max Schneider was. Anybody that ever thought that Max Schneider was just a point guard that ran around and jacked shots and
he's a special player too.
he really was. We found that out, huh?
Yeah. We're talking A1 and A2. Will South, you're not counting them out. South Park, CSAT. We take a lot for them to get to Buff State.
I think South Park's at Buff State. I
Okay.
got South Park reaching Buff State.
Okay.
CSAT's a team could go to Buff State, yes.
Has CSAT ever been there?
Yeah,
They've been to Buff State?
for sure.
Okay.
They won a sectional title with Darnell Carson,
Okay.
like 2014.
Okay. It's before my time.
Beat Wilson.
Before my time.
Yeah.
Beat Wilson.
Beat Wilson.
Oh, you would remember.
I would.
I am surrounded by Lakeman here. All right, let's go to B's. We're running overtime, Francis. I know I'm supposed to peel out at 11
What's
o'clock.
Francis
but
want to fight you about now?
he's-
Cracking knuckles again.
He's upset, I'm sure, about something.
Where you at, B1?
Yeah.
B1, B2, love them. Love them, love them. They're loaded. There's
Lot
teams
of-
all over the
I
place.
know. And only 4 can go to Buff State?
Only 4 get to Buff State.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
I love these
That's how they
B's,
call them
man.
semifinals.
They're a lot fun to watch. I mean,
So in B1, Lupert's a big favorite. They deserve to be.
okay.
They've got wins over 3 AA teams.
No guarantees, but
No, there's no guarantees, but a team
You
with
gotta
that
believe.
resume,
yeah.
And a team with Jalen Duff on it.
Yeah.
In Class B, coming from being the leading scorer in the Monsignor Martin, the leading assister in the Monsignor Martin.
Yep.
Back with his home squad in Newport, they're 17-2. Like I said, they've got the wins I've cited out. They're waiting to find out who they're going to play in the NFL championship game.
Yeah,
watch
that'll be
out.
interesting. That'll be interesting. What has worked? I mean, Jalen Duff, obviously, we talk about, but does Beeline?
Beeline's a heck of an undersheriff, you
Yes.
know. If you're going to say that's our number 2 on a Class B squad and our number 1's Duff, well, there's a big part of the secret recipe is 2 basketball players that are that good. You got Vinny Carlo, who is a heck of a shot maker for him. They've brought Graydon Barnwell along, a freshman who does nothing but hit shots. Drew Liardini, started hitting shots and really hasn't stopped. Nate Russell, giving them the inside presence. You know, they don't have a lot of inside presence, but he's giving them what he can give them inside. Some zone defense, a very good zone defense. Controlling the tempo when they need to control the tempo. I think Pat Krozak, you got to tip your cap to the job he's done in 2 years, you know, and his return to the varsity position there.
Haven't lost since January 10th, Niagara Wheatfield.
Right. And then you think like with that chemistry, right? Where we've got Jalen Duff, he left the school and he went to Nichols. And now he's coming back. And how's that going to go? What's the chemistry like? Is the team saying, great, he's coming back? Or is the team saying, well, he's going to score more and we're going to get less opportunities? Well, clearly, chemistry is in line over at Newport, due in large part to Pat Krozak and due in large part to Jalen Duff, because the kids like Jalen Duff. Jalen Duff likes his teammates. The coach, you know, so it's not, if you're wondering how that experiment was going to go, it went great. It passed the chemistry test. Things are going good.
We're still moving here.
Yeah, we are. So Depew, Lackawanna, Pioneer, Iroquois, East Aurora, Cheektowaga, Olean, all sitting there in Class B1.
Yep.
All those teams. So that's a pretty loaded Class B1.
B2, I've seen more B2 teams than I have B1. I've seen, Salamanca. I've seen Fredonia. Watched Newfane. I've seen Bennett. I haven't seen the Falconer team.
So Falconer, good record, but if you're really analyzing their strength of schedule, where
That's
they're
why you're
winning
here.
and where they're losing, Falconer, I don't think is going to be in that B2 conversation as far as Buff State team. Your B2 powers, the teams you mentioned, that whole division in the Southern Tier is, if you were like doing a power ranking of divisions and like truly how would the teams turn out if we made them all play each other and did the best of the best of the best, I think it goes the Monsignor Martin, ECIC 1, and then CCAA 1 West. That league is a meat grinder. Salamanca, Allegheny Limestone, Fredonia, Southwestern, Olean, Dunkirk. That's a great division. So
Okay.
4 of those teams sit there in Class B2. Salamanca, Southwestern, Fredonia, Allegheny Limestone. Those are all B2s. Those are all more than capable teams to show up at Buff State and make noise. Then there's Cleveland Hill. They're 15-3 on the year. They got a rematch coming with Depew this week. That's a team, especially with their seed, that's got a good shot to get there, although they don't want to run into one of those CCAA 1 West teams, because I think that would keep them from getting there, because those Southern Tier teams are so tough. Newfane. Tapestry. Tapestry is one of those dark horses, and Bennett is so big and physical, and they've got a couple really good basketball players on their team, and they've got depth, and they got kids that are champions there. So, that's your Class B2. Who are you talking to over there?
Our mics are a little crazy, wacky.
Our mics are crazy?
I mean, they can hear you fine. there's a little crackling in there, and again, that's why they don't let me do this often. So I may have hit a button at some point.
Calling my mom if this is how it's going to be.
But for the most part, it's going okay. They can hear you just fine.
Yeah, I haven't gotten too many nasty texts.
I just got one on Facebook said your mics are messed up, and I'm listening to it. They sound fine. It's not ESPN quality. It's
Where's the boom mic? I don't know what a boom mic is, but I've heard that.
Francis set
before.
the studio up for me yesterday, so since he's not here to defend himself, I'm blaming Francis. I like these B2s, man.
Yeah, B2 is
like
my
these
favorite.
B2s.
That's my favorite bracket of all of them, followed by a tie between B1 and AA.
Elgin Limestone got a big win over Fredonia at Fredonia yesterday
Yes,
on senior night.
yeah, they're excellent, both of those teams.
Yeah, that's
Doesn't surprise me to see that result go either way.
It's been a war down there.
That's what their league is, year in and year out. They're
Yeah.
excellent coaches, tough kids. They're all friends. They're all super nice guys, but it's a great league.
Ultra competitive. Move on to,
See,
well, I
We're-
mean, do you want to throw 4 teams out for Buff State for the Bs? Will 4 teams make it 2 B1s and 2 B2s, and then they'll come back and have an overall Section 6 champion?
Let me try and give you a mad projection here.
Give us a med. Can I
Off
give
the
you? Can I give you
spot.
mine?
The 4 teams that you think go to Buff State. Yeah, go ahead.
I could.
Yeah.
Without laughing at me.
I'm not gonna laugh at you.
I do like Randolph, and I do like Frewsburg. Laugh at me. Go ahead. Hang on. B1s. Hang on.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
gave you
laugh
Cs.
at you. You're
I
like,
gave you Cs.
Let's talk B2 Buff State. I like Frewsburg, Randolph, Clymer,
This is
that
Francis
team
Beck.
from Erie.
No, my B is obviously Newport, and I do like Depew.
All right,
I do like Depew.
you're really
But-
going out on a limb with
but-
those two.
I know, but could you discount Iroquois? Iroquois to me would be a dark horse. I just think that they have a good chance.
No, you wouldn't discount Iroquois at all.
Okay. And
No,
then
because if I'm looking, if any of this is updated correctly, it would have a Pioneer Iroquois 4-5 game. That's a great game.
okay.
Coin flip it, and we'll send one of them to Buff State.
B2s, I like Salamanca and Fredonia. Call me a homer.
So, what I'm seeing is Salamanca, or I'm sorry, Allegheny Limestone and Fredonia look like a 7-8 right now. They look like 7-8. So we've got to coin flip it or something, or however they're going to sort that out. One of them has to play Salamanca. So between Salamanca, Limestone, and Fredonia, if it all is how it is and nothing's going to change this week, only 2 of those 3 could even get there because one of them has to lose in the process. That would put the other one playing Cleve Hill. I would put my money on the Southern Tier team. So Newfane being a 3 seed, projecting right now, it looks like to play Springville. I would put Newfane at Buff State. So there you would have 2 Southern Tier teams, Newfane. And then that 4-5 right now says Burgard Olmsted. I would have to figure out who else is up there that could sneak in based on other things. Yeah. Tapestry, Bennett,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Now, can you hit up those C's?
Let's hit them up.
Set us up, baby.
So we all saw Randolph coming here. I've been calling Randolph the classy favorite all year.
The Randolph Nichols game was amazing. Amazing.
It was.
You couldn't have put 2 better teams together at that time of day, because that was your 3rd game of the day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Perfect timing for that game.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. It
I
really was.
did it like that because it's you got Randolph and Jamestown you've both invited up.
Yes.
And they know each other, they support each other, and that's a way to say, okay, you made the drive all the way up from Randolph. If you want to stick around, here comes Jamestown. Or I know you're driving all the way up to see Jamestown. If you show up a little early, you can watch some Randolph too.
Yeah. Master.
Kevin Hind and Drake went to college together. So
Master job there.
yeah, well, master job of the teams and the players coming out and delivering because that game was so fun to watch,
Yes,
so
it was.
competitive.
I loved it.
So Randolph really opened anyone's eyes who hadn't seen him or heard about him or was ready for what was going to happen. Someone asked me before that game, you think that game's going to be a blowout? And I said, it's either going to be a blowout or it's going to be the best game of the day. And it turned into the best game of the day. So you got Randolph, who I still say they are the Class C favorite. Until we find out otherwise, to me, Randolph is the Class C favorite.
And they won't be going to Buff State, just so we're clear. They're going to JCC.
They start at JCC, yeah. Yeah, no, they never come to Buff State this year, because if they win the title at JCC, it's just straight on to Rochester. There's no crossover for the C's. MST Seneca is playing really well right now. They beat East. They beat IPrep. When I watched them this year, they almost beat Holland, and I think right now they probably would beat Holland. It seems like MST just keeps getting better. I saw Scott Kirsch at the Center Court Classic, and my first, silly thought I had was, oh, wow, I can't believe Scott Kirsch came out and he's supporting this event, out to watch some basketball. I've never seen him doing anything but working. And then, oh, you idiot, he's here scouting Randolph. He's not here to support the Center Court Classic.
That's why Carlos was there to watch Jamestown, right?
Yeah, although I'd say Carlos, if he had nothing else going on, he's too much of a basketball junkie. He would have been in that gym. He would have been in that gym if he had nothing else going on, even if he wasn't scouting. There's a few guys who they can't get enough of this stuff.
And pretty much he was there all day, as was
them.
Orchard Park.
Yeah, Chris Frankowski. He's a good friend and another, good basketball junkie.
Good dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Adam Bennett came up. Justin Gerstung from Akron I saw. He came out to the Classic. Eric Klump was coming, but their babysitter fell through. I thought he was just boycotting the event because Eric Klump knew Fane. I thought he was boycotting the event because I didn't call him on my way out to Fredonia to say, want to scout Fredonia? Because he always tells me, let me know when you're going to the Southern Tier. So anyway, I like Frewsburg a lot in Class C. I'm just looking at it real quick. To me, your 4 teams in Class C are Randolph, MST Seneca, Frewsburg, Holland.
Okay.
Yeah, send those guys out. Maybe Global Concepts will have something for Frewsburg.
Okay.
That could be an interesting semi or quarter. It would be a quarter. Could be an interesting quarter. Class D, I can tell you what I think, but what I think shouldn't hold that much weight because I've seen one Class D game this year, and I'm more of following box scores, knowing coaches, having conversations.
Everybody is here because they want to know what you think.
Clymer.
The only reason why people are watching right now is because they want to know what you think.
Yeah. Clymer. I would say if I got to bet Class D, I'm betting Clymer. Ellicottville just won another league championship. It's like their 38th in a row, maybe 39th. Probably not nearly that much, but it's some absurdly high number that Dave McCann and Ellicottville have collected down there in that CCAA2 East. So they look like they'd be the 1 seed. Clymer the 2. I think Clymer's probably the best D team this year. Right now it looks like you'd have a Westfield, Panama 4-5 game. I saw that game. Those are both very good teams. Westfield, Panama, obviously both, I think, capable of winning a game with Clymer. Sherman's out there hiding in the mix, waiting to dash somebody's hopes. Corey Emery will sling a towel over his shoulder and make some magic happen. So there, we ripped through everybody. We covered it all.
Without ripping anyone.
Yeah, without ripping anybody. Did I rip anybody? I ripped bad body language. You know what I want to rip? Tweeting high school games without the scores. When did this become a trend? What is this all about? I gotta say this. Like, you see some coaches a lot now, and it's like,
You have the floor.
we lost to a well-coached, well-dressed, good-looking, hard-working, super fun, and a beautiful gym that had great concessions, or we beat this team, and then there's no final score. And you read these tweets, and it's like, that's what everybody wants is the score. I mean, you can dress it up and qualify it and modify it with how awesome everybody is or how hard you work to fall short from a game, but we're still looking for a final score. Because No one wants to read that on my account. No one wanted to see me at Time in Canisius last night and say, Canisius comes away with a hard-earned victory against a very athletic Timon team, and say it all like that. Everyone, what was the score? And these coaches that'll not tweet a final score, they'll text me, update, score, at the game I'm at. So I just find that to be an interesting trend of we're not tweeting final scores. It just makes more work for me to find the final score and go to tweet.
Yeah, I
Just
agree
tweet the
with you.
final score.
So it was an interesting show today.
I know.
I hope we didn't waste your time. I know you're heading over to Niagara
No, you
Wheatfield
didn't waste my
in a little
time.
bit.
Yeah, we'll see. I might pop in. Maybe I won't.
They got a spot for you.
We'll see.
It's not exactly center court. It's a little left of center.
You want me to make a prediction on Niagara Wheatfield Falls?
Would love you to.
And we'll see if it comes to fruition. I'm saying if I'm going to put a spread on this game, and maybe I've got inside information, maybe I don't. We can't really put spreads on high school games. Nobody bets those. No one even
Nobody
talks
does.
like that.
Of course not.
But Falls got to be at least minus 22.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, I think Wheatfield will cover.
So Wheatfield to cover.
If you're going to give me 22 on Wheatfield, I'm not betting against Fletcher. I'm not saying they'll win, of course, but hey, they did beat Newport.
You never know what court knows, Sometimes court gets inside information in the last minute. The line moves. That's how I make my money. No,
And then there's
joking.
O'Brien
This
over
is all
there
a
that
joke. I
coaches
don't
that
make
team,
money
and
on
he's
this.
ultra competitive too. And he knows his team better than anyone's, and he knows the Falls as good as anybody.
Eric
so-
O'Brien is a very good basketball
Very good,
coach.
very
He
good
really
coach.
is.
Great coach, and a good guy. Good all-around person, good family guy.
Yeah, he's not someone you dislike because
No.
he's pretty easy. He's pretty cool.
I appreciate you coming on the show today.
You kicking me off? Are we done?
No,
There's
I
nothing
don't know.
left to say. No, we're flaming out. People are yawning. They're getting tired. Wrap this up.
I really don't have much. No, I gotta go. I'm going out to Syracuse today for when
I put a note in my phone about tanking. About tanking. Because the way those Monsignor Martin rules are written up, I know we're jumping back over to that for a second, but you make it so the team might want to consider throwing something to, hey, do we really have a shot to win the Manhattan Cup? So, someone suggested to me, do you think Nichols will tank? And so I know Matt Bradshaw well enough. I asked him, I said, you going to tank or you going to play? I want to come and watch your game with St. Francis on Wednesday, but I'm not coming up if you're tanking, if you're playing for a Class B postseason. I just want to see a good game. I don't care what you're doing, but
Yeah.
tell me what you're doing.
Yeah.
And he said, I wouldn't know how to tank. He laughed at me,
No, guys
Clearly.
like that don't tank.
I don't
He's
think-
not built
right.
that way.
I don't think we should ever put people in a position where they would consider doing such a thing. And that's kind of what this rule does,
That got me in trouble a few times. Tanking.
right?
I'm
Maybe
so
maybe if
against
you say,
tanking.
we're going to make you an A, we're going to decide, and if you're an A because we think you're an A, maybe that'll prevent them from grabbing a kid out of another school or something and bringing them in and making the roster so powerful. Maybe that would be the effect. I doubt it. I think teams just want to be good and they want to compete, and that should never be effective. But anyway,
Play
the
strong.
whole grand, is anyone tanking? I don't know, but it wasn't Nichols. Nichols not tanking.
Play
Beat
hard.
Mary's last night.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So you're heading over to Niagara Wheatfield a little bit, and then definitely you got a date on Valentine's Day. Time in Joe's.
Day with my wife the day before,
Okay.
so I don't get kicked out of the house.
I'm going to Syracuse.
Want to see
for,
Joe's Timon Tuesday,
Yeah. Salamanca Wednesday.
Salamanca Wednesday.
Thursday.
Thursday is still a free agent day. There's a couple different games to go and consider seeing. Friday might be a Cleve Hill Depew night.
Who's hosting?
I think it's Depew.
Cool.
I think that's a Friday night. And then Saturday, right after the seedings and all of it comes out, we've got one little non-league game, one last great non-league game to get us all revved up for the postseason before the postseason officially starts, and that is Niagara Falls at Nichols, 1 week from today. So right now it says 2:30. So I bet you they fill up Nichols for that.
Yeah. See if we can get Tom to stream it.
Why not? Yeah. So I'm sitting there at that table and I can't see anything with 1,000 pieces of Western New York athletics equipment.
Sit at the table. Do color.
Fine. I would do that.
We'll
Maybe I'll do play-by-play. Who's
No, that's the-
who's doing play-by-play?
You.
Yeah, I think I'm a better play-by-play than color. I got nothing to add.
I think
You
you
know,
and
they
Dean would be
say,
hilarious.
"Oh, defense are they?" I don't know.
I know we got pre-quarterfinals or quarterfinals for hockey, but we'll see what's going on. See what's going on. See what we can do for you.
Dean's a lot of energy, huh?
Non-stop.
Dean. He was awesome to me though at that Center Court Classic.
Oh, the last
Say
few
he-
years he's been awesome.
Yeah, he what I asked him to do and what he did, like without missing a trick the whole game, be the book for me and be the book that sits right next to me so that I don't have to try and get all these signals from the referee. What number did he say? 15? So now he's just telling me, right? They'd signal it and he would just say, fouls on Malachi Parker, has first, team second. And then I get to repeat it into the microphone. And then he's tracking points and it's just, I needed to run away to put out a fire real quick over there, hand Dean the mic, you know?
Well, he's a PA guy himself, so.
I know he is. I know he is. He's probably a PA guy himself who's sitting there looking at me like, I could do it better, Chad.
He wouldn't say that. He's
He
doing.
would,
he's
he would
thinking-
think it. He would think it, but he would never
I
say
wouldn't
it.
put that thought past him thinking it.
Of course he thinks it. Of course he thinks
He's a
he's better than
competitive
me
dude.
at run the mic. I'm sure
He's
he
a
is.
competitive dude.
But it's my event. I like it. That's one of my little touches
Your
on
job,
it,
man.
right?
That's your job.
I like to just sit there and it's, and so some nut job suggested to me, oh, you should let me do the middle game and, you know, that way you can take a break and walk around, you know, this and that. And I said, if I'm not like locked into the game, like right in front of a microphone at the game, if I tried walking around during that thing,
You'll
I
never
know
get it.
everybody there. It'd be like, you would get distracted. You wouldn't. So if I'm going to sit there for 5 straight games at my own thing and I'm not doing Twitter coverage because I'm doing something else, to me that is the best way to lock into a game is put the microphone in front of you and be responsible for telling everyone who scored that basket, who committed that foul, what's going on. And then the way the Hamburg is set up, the music box is over in the corner, so I've got someone stationed at the corner controlling all the music, and they're relying on my verbal cues of when to start that song.
music.
And, right, yeah, and I'm not, you don't want to keep yelling
I
that,
heard you
so
a
it's
couple
like,
times.
hey, 30-second, timeout. And go, oh, it's a 30-second. He grabs a 30-second playlist and makes it happen. So it went good. It went good. I get so much help from that, from my wife, my
She
daughter,
is. She
from
is.
Russ Kingsbury and Chris Jurgens volunteering their time all day.
Yes.
Sean Turry over in the corner snapping pictures.
he.
He is a soldier. He's so good.
I know.
And he gets such good pictures for me. And
Yeah.
the nicest guy. And
O'Hara guy.
yeah,
You gotta get O'Hara
Yeah.
in the center court. for
I know.
sure.
He's like, where you going tonight? I'm like, I'm heading over to Canisius. He's like, I'll probably, he'll
I
probably
asked him
head
if he was
somewhere
gonna be
else.
time, and I asked him yesterday if he was gonna be at time, and he goes, "I had to take the night off." I'm like, all right.
Yeah, hey, you know,
Deserves.
Sean doesn't work for me. Sean's just, he's an salt of the earth
Yeah.
human being that
Yes.
takes great pictures and shares them with me.
Yes.
I don't ever say to Sean, hey, can you go do this game tonight? Sean's a free agent photographer who is wonderful to me,
Yes.
and I appreciate him
Same
so
here.
much for what he does.
Same here. He is a great guy.
And then Tape Kage.
Good old
Some
Josh.
people think it's Tape Cage, but it's Tape Kage,
I
I
don't
guess.
mess it up.
I don't know much about why it's pronounced Kage, but it is. And everyone loves what he does now. He showed up at the Classic and just produced highlight after highlight. And I didn't know he was coming, but I was so happy he was there because he does fantastic work.
There's another.
Can't compete
they
with what
call,
he's doing.
Josh Clone, young up and comer. There's a lot of guys. That are
Brock
starting to-
Balsano?
Yeah, Brock Balsano.
So I've seen that name, and I know that he's starting to do some stuff.
Follow him. He's doing some stuff for us and on his own. I told him, get out there. You know, whether you're doing it for us or not, do it. Don't wait around for me to call you. Do it. Just get out there and do it. And
That's really the whole secret to like how did I start? I just did it. I went to games and I did it and I did it and I did it and I did it and I did it. How do when you're trying to get into something, the news people, right? You want to be a broadcaster. Well, start interning. Do anything. Get people coffee. Start doing this. Wait for the chance for them to say, any chance you can take pictures today? This guy didn't show up. And then when you do it great. And keep that mentality going. You'll open doors for yourself.
I told Brock the other day, Brock, talk to Josh. Where are you going tonight? And go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, hey, all right, we're gonna end this show. We got too much going on. I got to get to Syracuse. Chad, you're the man, the absolute man.
Frank, love you. Thanks for having me on. This was fun.
We'll be back next week on High School Sports Saturday. Thank you for watching.